tell us how you slew them old Arabs 2 by 2. Like the Zulus, they had knives, bows, and arrows. Of how bravely you faced one with your 16-pounder gun, and you frightened all the natives to the marrow. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lakes of Gilshandra. Let us hear you tell how you stand a brave Parnell and taught them well and truly persecuted. Where are the stares and jeers that you proudly let us hear when our heroes of 16 were executed? Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lakes of Gilshandra. Show your wife how you won medals up in Derry. You murdered 16 men and you'll do the same again. So get out of here and take your bloody army. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lakes of Gilshandra. Oh, come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders.
Oh, you ready for it, chat? Get ready for the drop.
Buckingham Palace announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
It doesn't get old. Oh, it doesn't get old. It never gets old, and it never will. You know, it's so good every time. It's so good every time. It's been a year. It's been a year, you know, since she died, since she fucking planked it, finally. Does everyone remember the story that I told? About, like, I was on the train coming back from Wales with my partner. Does anyone remember? Does anyone remember what happened? I'll be really impressed if someone remembers exactly what happened, because it was like a very, like, throwaway moment. I might not have even told anyone, actually. I don't know. I can't remember, but I'll tell you if no one remembers. I'll tell you, because we love a good story, don't we, chat? We love a good story time. Welcome to the Donkus Jonkus Monkus stream. We're here. I'm live. I'm a bit later, and that is mainly because I've been back to the gym today, and that was really good. I've been back to the gym before. I was in the gym, not the Friday just gone, but the one after. But today was like my first day of like a proper big full body workout. So very excited to hopefully see, like, I don't feel garbage now. Like I was thinking like, oh, maybe I'll be too tired to stream or something. I don't know, but I feel fine. So fingers crossed, tomorrow I feel fine. If I feel fine tomorrow, oh my gosh, that means I'll be able to be getting back in the gym and getting swole. So I'm very excited for that, chat. But before I go any further, we have some delightful, wonderful chatters in the chat already, and I want to shout them out. We've got the amazing MixChloeB42. Please go and show Fair some love. Faye's an amazing streamer. Doing some Civilization 6 last time that Faye was live, so that's nice, isn't it? Gobs as well. Please go follow Goblin Hugger. They're an amazing streamer as well. Please show some support to our comrade streamers. But hello, the both of you. Hope you're doing well. We got Splootnewt as well. Welcome in. We also got the Woodbug. How you doing? We got Catgirl Steph. Hello. We got Vod. We got Gumba Master. Good to see you. Good to see you. Has anyone else come in the last couple of minutes? We got Sorka just popping in just now. How are you doing? Good to see you. What's up, everyone? Yeah. Not only did I go to the gym today and do like a full quote unquote proper workout, but I also had a really good meditation before that. And it's interesting because it's like when I've meditated in the past, it's been like, I don't know, it's weird. You're very, very aware of like sensations in your body and stuff like that. And I think for the first time today, my body is like finally like, well, like there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing fucked up. There's nothing weird. Like I had a bit of a sore throat last week. And now I'm like finally okay. So I think it just like all my energy is, you know, it's all flowing as it should be. And I think that's why it was really good. But yeah, it was very, very nice. It was very, very blissful. Spent some time in the, what do they call it? The unified field, you know? Got right in there, dove right in there. I've got a nice cup of tea and I'm ready to stream. It was really nice, Soccer. Yeah, it was really good. It was your friend's birthday, so you went to a cat cafe. That's delightful. I love that. I wish I went to a cat cafe. Hey, Prince, how you doing? Hooray for body being less fucked up. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's very good. I'm very happy about it. Very, very happy. I also had a good weekend. Finally watched Barbie in the movies. That's a good movie, isn't it? It's got to be like one of the best movies of the year, easily. Like, I've seen Sisu, and that's one of my favorite movies of the year, definitely. And I've seen Barbie, and I've also seen Please Baby Please. Those three are like in my top 10 movies of the year. Top 3 movies of the year. They're like definitely the top 3. But yeah, I love Barbie. You know, obviously there's problems with Barbie. We've looked at that on the stream before. The fact that they don't really like reconcile the sort of like switch between like patriarchy and matriarchy in Barbie Land or whatever. It's like, it doesn't make sense. It's like the whole story. I don't know. It's just crazy to me that they didn't like resolve that. And then also there was like another thing that didn't get resolved and I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, spoilers for Barbie. I should probably say that if no people haven't seen it. But like I also like it was really weird. It was really, really weird. There were moments when America Ferrera's character felt like she was gonna have, because America Ferrera's character felt like she was gonna be like the main character, because she's not Barbie. It actually did make Barbie the main character, which was kind of annoying because Barbie doesn't really have like a personality. She's kind of like something used to make the plot move forward. That's what it felt like. But then like America Ferrera was like, she had like the whole thing where she was playing with Barbie. It wasn't her daughter, but like her whole thing just like doesn't get resolved. Like she doesn't really. It kind of happens. Like I don't know if anyone's seen the movie, but basically what happens is Barbie is all happy and normal and having a lovely time in Barbie Land, and then she goes, anyone ever think about death? And then everyone's like, you're malfunctioning. You're going to have to go and speak to Weird Barbie. And it's Kate McKinnon, and she's all fucked up. And she tells her to go to the real world. And then she finds out that, like, the thoughts of death, like doom and sort of panic attacks, anxiety she's having are to do with America Ferrera having those thoughts. But that just, like, doesn't get resolved. It's so weird. It's, like, really weird. It's really weird. But I think it's Mattel. I think it's Mattel's involvement. I genuinely think it is. It's like Sorka says in the chat. The Barbie movie basically says CEOs are spreading patriarchy by accident, but they're just silly, goofy guys, you know? And it's like, none of it gets resolved, and Mattel are just basically... It is just a giant advert at the end of the day. Like, I like Greta Gerwig. I think she's great. I think she's a great filmmaker. I don't think, that she would have wanted to make the movie like that. The story is the only problem for me. Everything else is, like, fantastic. Like, the music, the sets... the effects, like everything is phenomenal from a filmmaking point of view, just absolutely great. I also feel like there are moments that got wildly blown out of proportion online. The whole saying you're beautiful to an old lady scene was wildly oversold to me. I thought it was a genuinely heartfelt scene with a monologue breaking down the misogyny that invalidates women's feelings of beauty as we age, and then it turned out to just be, hey, old lady, you're hot. Yeah, I know, smiles. I agree. I didn't know that was overblown online, but that's really silly if it was, because it was such a throwaway moment. I agree. Lego Movie was arguably a better takedown of the social issues it broached, which is a really low bar. Yeah, yes! Will Ferrell played the CEO in both of those. That's true. I agree wholeheartedly, Sorka, yeah. I think Will Ferrell, this is like the best movie he's ever been in, other than the Lego Movie. I can't stand Will Ferrell. Genuinely, like, I cannot stand him. But I thought he was really, really good in this movie. But that's what they wanted. They wanted a CEO that is like a wacky, crazy guy, and like he loves women. I love women. You know, I think it was just really annoying that none of that got resolved. Like that was the upsetting thing about Barbie for me. Lego Movie was ridiculously good, which is all the better considering I didn't expect it to be much beyond a kids movie at first. Yeah, same Sploot New. Yeah, it's so good. One other movie where he's good is Elf. I'm not an Elf fan, but that's only because my parents have desperately tried to make me watch Elf many Christmases on the run, and yeah, I'm just not down. Also can't stand him. Instant do not watch if he's in it. That's kind of why I don't want to watch Elf as well. It's like a combination of ODD, and I just do not like Will Ferrell. Oh, Crystal's here. Sorry, I missed your chat message. Hi, Crystal. How you doing? Have you seen the trailer for The Boy and the Heron? Yeah, a little bit. Should we watch it right now? Should we watch the trailer? If anyone doesn't know, this is the new Studio Ghibli movie. Or it might not be Studio Ghibli. It's Hayao Miyazaki. So whether or not it's Ghibli or not, I don't know. But it's very Miyazaki. As per usual. I'm indifferent to Will Ferrell. Elf is oversold in my opinion. I just think he's like, in that movie, whenever I've seen it, it's just him being like, haha, I'm a really silly guy and that's the joke. And it's like, oh, I've seen that like a million times. The whole movie would have been improved by removing Will Ferrell. Fuck him off. Just get him off. Okay, so I've found it. It is actually Studio Ghibli, so that's very exciting. Yeah, like I don't think I've seen this trailer in its entirety, but I've seen like little bits of it. I think I might have seen a bit of it on TikTok or whatever, but big fan of Studio Ghibli, as always. I actually watched Ponyo this weekend as well. Ponyo is a great movie. I haven't actually watched that before, but like that movie's pretty like, I watched it with a trans girl, and she was like, yeah, this is pretty trans, you know? Very, very transgender, that film. Very exciting. The Studio Ghibli's got a lot of like queer stuff going on in it, I think, and I think that's pretty good. But let's check out Boy and the Heron. Let's see what the trailer's saying. Well, there's the boy and there's the heron. Traditional Hayao Miyazaki old ladies. Oh, it's ghosts. Oh yeah, this looks fucking great. This looks fucking great. It's out in December, this, right? Boy and the Heron, delightful. There's the heron, there was the boy, and there was the heron. There you go. We know that they're in the film. Delightful. Very exciting. What did I miss in the chat? Sock says he's a bit obnoxious in Elf, but like I feel the movie actually does something with it, so it isn't as onerous as in other films. Yeah, I just can't stand it. If it works for you, it works for you. It's fine. Will Ferrell is a specific type of guy in movies that are oddly annoying. Yeah. Hayao Miyazaki, whenever he makes a new movie, this is going to be the last one. 2 weeks later, fuck it, I had another idea. Yeah, it's really, really funny. Ponyu is my go-to watch film when I get food poisoning or a bad cold. Yeah, sounds like a good thing to watch for comfort movie. Need to watch more Ghibli. I've only watched Spirited Away in its entirety. Well, Spirited Away is great, but there are definitely like different things that you can get from other Studio Ghibli films. Howl's Moving Castle is a firm favorite of mine. Princess Mononoke. Nausicaa and the Valley of the Winds isn't, I don't think it is Studio Ghibli, but it's made by some of the same people. Nausicaa Valley of the Winds is great. And what have I not mentioned? Kiki's Delivery Service. They're like all good. Even Pompoko, which is the weird one with raccoons that like use their testicles to fly and shit. So yeah, very exciting movies, great movies. Heron located, boy heron confirmed. There's gonna be a boy in the movie and a heron. It's confirmed. Oh, I agree. The Studio Ghibli liquids, Sorka. Oh yeah, absolutely. Hey Fab Forward, how you doing? Just rewatched Howl's Moving Castle, so great. Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's beautiful. Beautiful movies. Absolutely quality. Like, as like a movie fan, there are like very, very few sort of like directors and studios that I would like go to again and again and again consistently for like good movies, because even like some directors, even if they put out like a shit hot film, the next one they can make could just be garbage. And it all depends on like, you know, the studio, the writing and all that stuff and what's happening on the set and shit like that. So, you know, I understand like the ins and outs, stuff like that, but honestly, consistently like Studio Ghibli, just absolutely fantastic. On par with me, to be honest, for David Lynch films, because they're really, I'm gonna say it, they're really similar actually to David Lynch films in terms of like, there is a message. Maybe sometimes the message is like a little obfuscated and you don't quite know what the message is, but you're watching the film and you're having a good time, and it's very abstract and lots of odd and weird things happening in it. So I think that's like a reason why I love Studio Ghibli so much. Studio Ghibli is David Lynch for kids. That's actually a really good analogy, I think. It's like David Lynch making children's movies. So there you go. But it's not, is it? It's not David Lynch. It's Hayao Miyazaki and all the other amazing artists who do that. But yeah, anyway. If you've never watched a Studio Ghibli film, I guess that might be useful to you in some way. What else have I missed in the chat? Nausicaa slaps. Yeah, Nausicaa is honestly amazing. Porco Rosso. I've not seen Porco Rosso, which is ridiculous, isn't it? Because it's supposed to be the big anti-fascist one. But I think it's because so many people keep mentioning it to me, and the brain is just like, no. Are you saying Razorhead isn't for kids? I'm trying to think. Oh no, it's not for kids. No. I watched Razorhead when I was a kid, and look what happened to me. That's the message you should take away from what happens if you show a child a David Lynch movie. Like, just look at this. What a mess. So there you go. Excuse me. I really hope before he actually retires, Miyazaki does another film filled with wild fantasy world building. Big airships. Obviously, they're a superficial part of Nausicaa, not the main reason. It's my favorite of the studio's output, but at the same time, it's a very compelling element for me specifically. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, that's the thing about not Sorka. I'm saying that because I'm reading your messages about Nausicaa. That's the thing about Nausicaa Valley of the Winds for me. It's like the world building in that movie is so ridiculous. Like, the different cultures have different design philosophies, their tech, the culture, the environment. Yeah, so good. So extremely good. Would you believe that some people say that Porco Rosso is not political? I do believe that, because lots of people think silly things, don't they? Yeah, entirely unpolitical film there. So, very exciting new Studio Ghibli movie coming out. That's very exciting for me, very exciting for everybody. Almost as exciting as Uzumaki coming out soon. Don't quite know when that's going to come out. I think it's coming out next month in October? Maybe? Not sure. Not quite sure. Well, what other announcements have I got? I've finally finished editing my Patreon exclusive video, which is a 2-hour-long epic of me reviewing a bunch of movies. So if you actually like hearing me talk shit about movies and what I think about them, like technically, and you know, the actors in them and the directors and all that kind of nonsense, if you're into that kind of stuff, there is like a full fucking 2-hour video of that you can watch, and it's on my Patreon now if you subscribe at Possum tier or above, which is £5 a month or above. So there you go. You can go and check that out. Shall I tell you what movies I review in it? I've completely forgotten. I'm gonna have to like look at the fucking. I'm gonna have to like look at the files. So the movies that I review in that are Pink Flamingos, Bill and Ted's Excellent and Bogus Adventure Journey, Species, Jabberwocky, which is a little unheard of Terry Gilliam movie, early Terry Gilliam movie, Malignant, The Whale, although most of you here know my opinions on The Whale. 1984 was the film adaptation of 1984. It's very good. What else did I review? An awful film called Slash Lorette Party. Dire. I reviewed Partners very slightly. Tetsuo the Iron Man. We watched those two films on a movie night. I mentioned the movie nights in there as well. Please Baby Please, which is easily one of the best films of the year. It's so good. It's really fucking queer. Honestly, cannot sing that movie's praises enough. It's so good. Yeah, the movie is based on that poem, Bordrella, yeah, the Jabberwocky poem. What else did I review? Ty West's X, and I think that's it. I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah, I think that's all the movies I review. Yeah, I review all those movies, essentially. Yes, Chloe, Eurythmics doing the music in 1984. It's so good. Yeah, really good. Make sure you watch the theatrical release of 1984, not the director's cut, because the director, Michael Radford, absolute fucking bellend, was like, I don't think this music's good for the movie. Like, fuck off, dude. Like, listen to this. This will probably get the VOD taken down from YouTube or whatever, but honestly, I can't tell you. This is one of the tunes. It's called Everything Fades into Mist. It is so good. I fucking love this tune. Chat. Let me put it on the screen. There you go. I don't think this is the artwork. But like, this is just the absolute goat. It's like very Tubular Bells, Mike Oldfield, but also it's got Eurythmics' own little unique spin on it, which you'll hear in a second. Just really simple. Flute. It might be a clarinet, but I think it's a flute. It sounds like a clarinet, but it could be a synth, to be honest, that's emulating that. Now the Eurythmic stuff is coming in. Annie Lennox vocals, softly rising in. So good. Just like amazing. That's the shit right there. Oh, fuck yeah. Anyway, really good tune. Everything Fades into Mist. Listen to that whole album. It's fucking phenomenal. It's really good. The movie adaptation of 1984 is the only vindication for how milquetoast the politics of the original book was. You think the politics of 1984 was milquetoast? I'm interested to hear your opinion as to why that is. Luckily, versions do exist that keep the Eurythmics soundtrack. Yeah, no, that's why I was saying don't watch the director's cut. Watch the fucking theatrical release, the original theatrical release, because that's got the Eurythmics tunes in it. You know? Yeah. Part of why I was so into Tears of the Kingdom is that while Breath of the Wild drew a lot of inspiration from Princess Mononoke, Tears of the Kingdom drew a lot from Nausicaa in a lot of ways that scratched my brain. Ooh. Thank you for the follow. Got significant toxic forest vibes from the depths. Yeah, I've heard that like Tears of the Kingdom is really, really good. Yeah, I should check. I should get it. If I get money. By the way, chat, we're one. What have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4 streams. You've got 4 streams to get us to movie night. Now, the goal is dramatically reduced this month because I'm well aware that people, might not have the dough. Like, my audience has sort of shrunk a little bit and I've been off for so long. I totally understand. No problem. So I brought down the goal, the monthly goal, and I've been trying to like search for some like other work other than streaming. But yeah, if we could get to what is it going to be like 115 pound by the end of the week? By the end of the week streams, that would be fucking excellent because that'll mean that we can unlock double feature movie night. And what is the double feature movie night this month? You hear me asking. Well, you could just do the movie night command in the chat. Movie night has not been unlocked for September. If unlocked before the end of the month, the double feature will be Hard Ticket to Hawaii, which is a classic So Bad It's Good movie from 1987, and Sisu, which is the one about the old Finnish guy that kills a bunch of Nazis, and it's really fucking good. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. Don't forget to sub off Twitch. Oh shit, hang on. There you go. Make sure you actually sub off Twitch rather than subbing on Twitch. And yeah, that's that. Hi, I'm Ken. Nice to meet you. Hi, Ken. How's it going? How's the beach? Anyway, that's the spiel for now, but we got a whole bit. Oh, hang on. I've heard some people be annoyed at 1984 because schools prop it up as some kind of political masterpiece and said schools then try to make it liberal. Yeah, I didn't have that experience at my school at all. Like, maybe that's changed over the years. It's going to be different in different schools. I didn't have that at all. Like, it was very much like, it's a good examination of authoritarianism on an internal level, but the implications of the wider world speak a lot to Orwell's view of the world. My friend who did an English degree has a lot more to say about this because she hates Orwell's entire body of work with a burning passion. I'm sure you meant to say passion there. I don't know what you mean by that. The implications of the wider world. I don't quite know what you mean by that. Because there's no implications to the wider world that aren't the message of the party in the book. So they're not really Orwell's view of the world. They're Orwell's view of what the party would think of the world. Anyway, I haven't read the book in years, so maybe the book is a bit different. But to me, like, I think the movie adaptation is fantastic. It's got John Hurt in it. It's got Richard Burton, and I don't really get like any kind of like, it doesn't even have like Red Scare stuff in it. Like, it doesn't have like that absurd Gumba Master. Thank you so much for the £10.25. Thank you so much. I'm gonna have to get an alert made for that amount because I know it's a Homestuck amount or whatever, right? I'm gonna have to get an alert that's like specifically Homestuck. I don't know anything about Homestuck at all, so you're gonna have to tell me what it is. But you always donate that. So thank you so much for subbing off Twitch. Thank you so much for supporting the stream. Really, really, really appreciate that. Excuse me. Where am I up to? What was I on about? Oh yeah, we got some stuff. We got some stuff to talk about. It's really important actually because it's absolutely mad that more and more people aren't talking about this in particular. Did Conrad rat me out? No, you've said that in the stream before. What are you on about? Hey, it's a mammal. Good to see you. Welcome in. Hope we're all hella good today. I'm actually hella good today, actually. So, I do appreciate that. Anyway, I don't know why more people aren't talking about this, but someone in a Discord I was in mentioned it before, so I think like it is kind of like seeping through the grapevine. essentially, the Daily Mail, if you don't know about the history of the Daily Mail in this country, in the UK, well, it was founded in the UK. It was founded by a guy called Lord Rothermere, I believe, or that's the guy that owns it now. Anyway, the guy fucking loved Hitler. So, sort of old, crusty, anarchist, kind of lefty trade union guys call it the Daily Heil, based on a joke that was in Private Eye. Yeah, Catgirl Steph got it straight away. There you go. And so yeah, like the guy fucking loved the Nazis. Like he was like related to someone or something in the Nazi party. I can't quite remember. But it's a very, very right-wing piece of shit tabloid. Like that's all it is. Like, and they've exported that. It's part of the Murdoch press, I believe. I might be wrong in that. I'll do some research on that later, but I think it's part of the Murdoch press. So they've exported that to like an international audience. Of course, it does amazing in America, also in Australia, New Zealand, and I think that is kind of where we're at now with it. But yeah, so recently I noticed this kept coming up on my Instagram, and it's absolutely absurd, this chat. Strap yourselves in. Content warning for anti-black racism, and just a whole hell of journalistic incompetency. I don't know what you would call it. Like just very awful journalistic practice by the Daily Mail. So this is from The Voice. I don't know what The Voice is, but apparently, like, I've seen like a fair few people like talk about it. It's kind of like a bit of a reputable source, but it talks about this stuff, which is important. An investigation has been launched into the Daily Mail ghost writing. Outrage grows after whistleblower reveals paper attached names of black commentators to racist articles. Yeah? So, here's the thing, chat. This is absolutely awful. Dominique Samuels, who is I think, presenter for GB News or a contributor or whatever. Basically, this is like leopards eating faces party nonsense. So she works for like GB News, and we all know GB News constantly fueling the racism machine, fueling the white supremacist propaganda shit. That's kind of why they're called GB News. And they have this like, it's a really, really insidious way that they try and get out of being called racist, because they have like black presenters and shit. They never explicitly say this, but it's kind of like becoming quite obvious that this is what's going down. Dominique Samuel said on Twitter that basically there was an article in the Daily Mail about Notting Hill Carnival. Now, Notting Hill Carnival, there was a guy with a knife, or a couple of guys with a knife, and that got blown up out of fucking proportion, by the right-wing media, like really, really, really fucking badly. Daily Mail being one of them as well. And it just fuels racism, right? It's like, oh, black people, when they all come together, they're just so violent, right? That's kind of like the vibes that the article was going for. And they attached Dominique Samuel's name to this article that she like fundamentally disagreed with. And it's literally there, like she's saying, the outrage fest about Notting Hill Carnival is tiresome and, to be honest, manufactured. I was asked to be the face of a ghost-written negative, verging on racist piece by the Daily Mail paper last year, and eventually turned it down because it was complete misrepresentation of what I witnessed while I was there. The violence, etc. that happens is, of course, not acceptable, but it's estimated that 2 million people attend the festival every year. So maybe she didn't write the article, but she heard about this and they approached her to do this, yeah? You know what I mean? Hey, M. Oculus, welcome to the stream. How you doing? Blackface journalism. Well, that is what it is, because essentially these are like racist articles being written by like staff at the Daily Mail who, let's face it, it's going to be 90% white there because it's a business in the imperial core. And they're attaching the names of black journalists who have like agreed in sort of, I guess, I don't know how you would say it, like a projective manner, like thinking like, oh yeah, well, they can attach my name to it or give me a bit of clout. And they don't just do this with like black journalists. It's a thing that happens, all the time. But it's extremely insidious that they are using black journalists' faces for these racist articles. So Dominique Samuels, for example, was ghostwritten for this article. which was about like Meghan Markle and the racism that she was facing in the royal family. So like the headline here says, Dominique Samuels in massive letters, right? And she didn't even fucking write it. It's so fucked, chat. This clash of royals was about culture, not color. Like, this is just absurd. Like, she confirms that it was ghostwritten, and it's like, you have got to be kidding me, dude. Like, how are they so explicitly doing this? It's just absolutely vile. And like I say, not enough people are talking about it, because this should be one of the biggest explosions in, like, press standards, you know, in terms of, like, freedom of the press, and not necessarily freedom of the press, but, like, you know, I guess, like, just standards, like how they work and how they actually, like, operate. These companies, completely vile, completely fucking vile. So we have an article here that it was written by a guy called Lester Holloway, called Blackface in Daily Mail Must Be Held to Account. So we're just going to read through this real quick. A whistleblower, Dominique Samuels, revealed the paper has been ghostwriting racist articles using the identities of black commentators. There must be serious consequences. The revelation that Daily Mail are attaching black names and faces to racist articles is ghostwritten. Let me just zoom in a little bit so everybody can see. Ghostwritten by other journalists who, based on the makeup of the UK newsrooms, are overwhelmingly likely to be white, is, or should be, a major scandal in the media industry. Commentator Dominique Samuels admitted on social media an article with her byline headlined, "This Clash of Royals was about culture, not color," was not written by her. She also wrote, "I was asked to be the face of a ghost..." Oh, we just read this bit anyway. How is it even legal? Because the law does not protect people. It protects companies. It protects businesses, corporations, awful, vile bastards who have too much money. The law doesn't protect us. It never has, and it never will. We're going to be talking about that a little bit more in a bit with this video from the wonderful FD Signifier. So yeah. Emmy, also hi, Emmy. I don't know if I said hi to you. Jump it in the chat. But yeah, it's genuinely sickening behavior for them to be doing this, obfuscating their racism by committing digital blackface. Horrifying. Yeah, it essentially is digital blackface, isn't it? Because it's you know, it's basically saying like, oh, you know, it's fine because this writer's black, you know, and they wrote it, so it's fine. It's not racist. It's just so bad. It goes without saying that the Daily Mail are engaging in a scandalous and deeply unethical behavior which deceives their readers, but the implications of the scandal run far deeper and demand serious repercussions. The newspaper is blackfacing, using the identities of at least one, maybe more, black people as a mask for the prejudiced opinions of staff to publish things they clearly believe they would not get away with as a white person. It is also effectively identity theft, even if black commentators are consenting to it. Yeah, it basically is. Also, I think it should be noted as well that this person on Twitter here is actually saying that, like, we know that Nana Acua's articles have almost certainly been ghostwritten to attach an anti-black narrative to a black face. So I don't know who Nana Acua is, but it seems that, like, this is, like, it's more and more people are sort of coming out and being like, yeah, this has been happening for a long time and it's not fucking good. So from a journalism point of view, it is worse than making up quotes, usually a sackable offense. Just ask former hack Boris Johnson. Yes, that's right, American, non-UK watchers of the stream. If you didn't know, Boris Johnson used to be an awful hack journalist for, I can't remember, I think it was The Telegraph. I'm not quite sure. Vile bastard. Or publishing stories known to be untrue. Several editors lost their jobs over the Hitler Diaries story in 1983. I can't quite remember what this was, but it's kind of irrelevant. Just as Britain was outraged by the hacking of Millie Dowler's phone, so too should we be appalled by the hacking of black people's identity with or without their consent. Sadly, it's telling that this story has not been picked up by any media correspondents, let alone the news desks. Regardless of the lack of appetite for this scandal, the Independent Press Standards Organization should lose no time in investigating, and if they find the Daily Mail guilty, should impose the maximum £1 million fine, which is unfortunately still small change for a media group which rates in £885 million in 2021. I mean, they shouldn't have a fine. They should be just, like, decommissioned. Nationalize the Daily Mail. Do you know what I mean? True news only. How much of a fuck you would that be to that like Nazi-loving cunt if we nationalized the Daily Mail? That would be so fucking funny. First of all, communism. He'd hate that. Second of all, make it just like about actual things that have happened and not opinion pieces. That would be great, wouldn't it? If we had accurate news, like we have on Democracy Now! in the UK. What's the most accurate UK media outlet? What would that be? Don't say my stream. It's not true. It's not true. I get things wrong all the time, and I'm also just a Twitch streamer. Let's finish this. It's actually like a bit of a long article, but you can obviously like, you know. Oh, actually, was that the comments? I think that was the comments, actually. Part of the Leveson inquiry is supposed to consider. Shamefully, former Culture Secretary Matt Hancock abandoned the part 2 before it begun in 2018. Anyway, the thing that makes this like extra insidious is, I mean, it's insidious just on the face of it, right? But when you think about the history of the Daily Mail and the kind of things that they've said and done to the black community in the UK, for example, the case of Stephen Lawrence, like this is completely fucked. Black teenager, if you didn't know, 30 years ago, black teenager Stephen Lawrence was murdered by racist thugs in southeast London, became an international cause celebre. After, as founder of the Anti-Racist Alliance, I was able to introduce Nelson Mandela to Stephen's parents. This is Mark Wadsworth. Before that, political leaders had ignored a spate of murders of young black men in a part of London we dubbed the racist murder capital of Britain. It took 6 more years before a new Labour government settled the Macpherson public inquiry into the Stephen Lawrence killing, found the police to be riddled with institutional racism, and proposed unprecedented reforms. Do you remember, do you remember back a few weeks ago when we were doing the prison abolition stream and we heard John from the Prisoner Solidarity Network say that the Met Police, the London Met Police, were in fact found to be institutionally racist 30 years ago, 30 fucking years ago, right? And they did another one recently, and it's like nothing's changed. Just vile. Like, this is what that is referencing. Today, Commissioner Sir Mark Rowley does not, even after a damning report from Louise Casey this year, found his forces also misogynistic, homophobic, and corrupt. In 1999, former senior Judge McPherson concluded that institutional racism, at least in part, explained why Stephen's killers had escaped justice. Police have been incompetent and committed fundamental errors, including failing to give first aid when they reached the scene, failing to follow obvious leads during their investigation, and failing to quickly arrest suspects. It's the same story time and time again. So let's have a look at where the Daily Mail was involved. I have a feeling it's going to be similar. Oh, here we fucking go. Yeah, here we fucking go. In a dramatic turnaround this month, Doreen Lawrence has claimed her longtime ally, the Daily Mail, hired private investigators to hack her phone and get information on Stephen, potentially disrupting the police investigation into the racially motivated murder. You know, and it's like, okay, so the Daily Mail is nowadays doing this awful ghostwriting blackface stuff, and it is definitely been responsible. All these things make up the system of white supremacy, not just in this country, but beyond, right? You know, the means of communication, yeah? That's something that a company like the Daily Mail is heavily involved in. That is the means of communication for the ruling class, yeah? In the same way that other huge, awful right-wing rags are all over the world. The Daily Mail is an international paper as well. You know, and then of course the police. You know, Monday is becoming police day here on the stream. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to break this chain, I think. But yeah, I think just all in all, this is like a really fucked up, horrible story. You know what we're gonna start to see against the Daily Mail when stories like this get a little bigger, get a little louder, is we're just going to start to see people going into shops, just picking up a whole fucking heap of Daily Mail papers and just setting them on fire. Do you know what I mean? That's just what we're going to fucking see. Pissing on them and setting them on fire. And I, for one, would think that that is abhorrent because it's breaking the law, isn't it? You should never do that. Don't break the law. It's the arbiter of all morality. And also, people will probably just end up hacking the Daily Mail website. I imagine the security is not that good for the website. I think it's been, actually getting, it's probably one of those places that's already been hacked. That still earns them money. Yes, I didn't mean they would be going in there and buying it. No, that would be insane, wouldn't it? No, they'll just go in there and pick it up and fucking burn them. Because that's kind of what they deserve, isn't it? Anyway. That's that. That's that, chat. So, there we go. You heard it here first, probably. Unfortunately. Because it should be a huge, huge story. It should be national news. If not international news. As it's an international paper. So there you go. But now we're gonna sit back, we're gonna relax, and we're gonna watch this fucking long ass fake video called "Fuck the Police." I'm really excited to check this out. As soon as I saw that he released this, I was buzzing. Not only is it talking about police and why the police need to be abolished, it also goes into prison abolition. So I'm really excited to watch this, chat. Really excited to just get, like, you know, some more anti-cop shit, some more anti-prison shit here on the stream, just here out in the fucking YouTube ether. Very, very based, very, very cool. So we're gonna go ahead and check that out. But before I do, don't forget, chat, take your meds, look after yourself, stretch your legs. What else? Have a wee, do a drink, eat some snacks, whatever. You know, if you've been sat here for a bit, it's only been an hour that I've been live, but please make sure you look after yourself. Macaronori Ninja, it's good to see you. Long time no see. I have a little not on topic, slightly personal question. Well, now is actually the more appropriate time to ask that personal question, so go for it. What else did I miss in the chat? Just Johnny, hello, welcome to the stream. Everybody, please go follow. Please go follow Just Johnny. He's an amazing streamer. The Daily Mail, unfortunately, not cheaper than bulk buying toilet paper. Yeah, true. What else? What else? Like at Trump rallies, usually one of the presenters is black, but the crowd is 99.9% white. Yeah. Like the what I was saying about GB News. Yeah. Genuinely sickening behavior, obfuscating the racism. Yep, so bad. Honestly, really, really bad. Yeah, and they did give Stephen Lawrence first aid. Just absolutely vile shit. Absolutely vile shit. I don't know if that's an appropriate question, but a friend recently told me he shaved his hair and started growing a beard to fit more into bald bisexual with a beard stereotype. Is that a real thing, or is he talking bollocks? I'm sorry, you're the only person I know who could help me. Okay, fair enough. That's a lot less worse than what I thought it could have been. Yeah, no, bisexual men, funnily enough, come in all shapes, sizes, skin colors, that kind of stuff. You don't have to look a certain way. And no, the reason that I have a beard is because my partner was basically mad that my stubble was giving her a rash when we were making out. So I started growing a beard, and now it just kind of suits me. And I shave my head because I'm bald. I literally am just bald. So that's me. It does look great. Thanks. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Right. So, let's get into this. In fact, I'm going to give everybody some time. I'm going to go to the toilet myself. Get prepared. Make sure you do your things, take your meds, all that stuff, etc., etc. I'll be back in a tick. Okay, chat. Oh! I'm back. I'm back. Really looking forward to potentially catching up with you. We'll send the deets this evening. Curse the damn airheaded ADHDism. Oh, it's alright, dude. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to hanging out. One who reads, so curious about blackface journalism. Given it's the Daily Mail, one can infer it's even worse than it sounds. Well, you've just missed it, I'm afraid. It was a very, very short segment. But if you want to check it out, I guarantee you it will be on my Instagram or TikTok later, because I will be editing a little segment of that, because I think the story needs a bit more like awareness. It's just really horrible that like no one's talking about it, and it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know, like most other like UK streamers, like UK political streamers. I'm trying to think. I don't even think I know any UK political streamers other than David, our boy David, $27. Everybody go show him some love. I wonder if David knows about it. I'll have to ask him. But you should all go follow David because he's top. He's fucking brill. Prince says, I'm a bisexual man with a head of hair and a shaven face, so it really does take all kinds. It does, doesn't it? It does, doesn't it? We're all kinds of degenerate. I suppose that friend just wanted to try a more masculine sort of look. He said he used to dress and style more feminine, but wanted to change. I'm really bad at talking about stuff like that. I don't know what words to use. No, I think you're fine. Like, don't worry about it. Like, it's all good. Do you know what I mean? If you get something wrong, someone will correct you. You won't get cancelled. Don't worry about it. Listen, chat. Today we're cancelling Macaroni Ninja. You might not know who he is. He's not been in the stream in easily 3 years. So, you know, but don't worry about that. It's really important that we take this motherfucker down, right? We have to take it. He's platforming all these awful ideas. He got a word wrong once, and we have to clamp down on that. So, yeah. Anyway, Peanut Butter Princess, welcome to the stream. How you doing? It's good to see you. What else am I up to? I think there was something that I really should have said. Maybe I'm just thinking too much about it. I think I'm thinking too much about it. It's time for the feet video. Oh shit, that's what it is. That's what it is. I didn't change the scene. I got it all ready and everything, chat. Can't believe I fucked that up. That's so bad. Content warning for racism, police brutality. There's obviously going to be a lot of that in this video, or conversations about it. So if that's not your vibe today, don't be ashamed. Take a day off. Take an evening off. Go watch something nice. Look after yourself. You know, it's rough. It's not easy talking about this stuff sometimes, let alone listening to it. So I completely understand. I won't be upset. But here we go. Let's hear what Feek has got to say. Oh yeah, that's right. Everybody go like the video as well. Yeah. I don't know anyone here who's not fucking subscribed to FD Signifier, but please show some love to FD Signifier. Like the video, comment, subscribe. I don't even know how else to boost shit on YouTube. If you have a YouTube channel, share his video and talk about it. But let's check it out. Let's see what we got.
In 1988, NWA released a song titled Fuck the Police. And this still might be the most subversive, radical, and controversial song in hip-hop history.
Yo, Trey, what up? I got something to say. Fuck the police, coming straight from the underground.
Quality track.
Which is funny because over time, the members of NWA proved to not be all that radical. But what they were at that time was provocative. They knew how to rob people up, and they knew what they were talking about. It was true.
Hey, dusting off my shit like gonna. Hey, dusting off my like Craig gonna. Yeah, dusting off
no, bro.
Hey, this is extortion.
No way.
Okay.
Okay, this fucks so hard that he was like, I'm putting this in the video. I got pulled up by the police. I'm putting it in the video. Fucking holy shit.
Yeah, okay, keep that bingo on.
I love Feek so much.
You can't see it right now. You can't see it at all, actually. But right across from where I'm sitting is a big-ass jail.
Brad, thank you. Channel 2 investigates possible prison corruption here in Atlanta. Today, whistleblowers testified on Capitol Hill about major security and safety problems at the Atlanta Federal Penitentiary.
It's a really huge, ominous building, and it's right in the middle of the city. It's in the middle of a regentrifying part of the city. Right across from this jail, they're building luxury townhomes. In this little section, this little area of street art is actually a popular place for people to film videos. There was a viral Divine 9 video filmed here a couple of years back. This is, you know, one thing about Atlanta is that it embraces street art. And so you have like this mural, you have luxury townhomes, you have some really nice eateries and restaurants not too far from here. You got gentrifying neighborhoods going this way, and in the middle of all of that is a big-ass federal prison. And I can't show it to you because I'm pretty sure filming a prison is illegal.
Yeah.
And considering the nature of this video, niggas not taking no chances.
Don't blame me, dude.
Well, today, a Senate subcommittee in Washington, D.C. paints a picture of prisoners running the show here at the U.S. Penitentiary in Atlanta, and prison officials doing little to stop the corruption.
The would-be dangerous criminals in this facility for years would often escape the prison to go get Taco Bell or see their girlfriends and then return back to the prison through numerous holes in the prison's gates, like teenagers sneaking in and out of their house after curfew to go hang with their friends.
Federal prosecutors say he snuck out of the Atlanta pen at least 3 times to see a girlfriend, then sneaking back each time.
That's so good. Everybody here knows how I feel about prisons. Honestly, like, that fucks so hard. Holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit.
Confirms an ongoing
It's a fancy ass prison. Well, I think what Feek is alluding to is that it's probably fancy because, you know, they want to keep it in with the gentrifying of the area, right? They want to make it look nice everywhere. Yeah, huge power move. Hey, Dungeon Subbus, how you doing? Good to see you.
Problem at the prison where inmates are able to escape easily.
Yeah, they want to make it look nice so they can sell properties.
The prison was so poorly run that
No, it's not that you're not clever. No, relax. Hey, listen, we have a huge thing here in the stream, especially with people who like want to sit here and they want to learn politics. They want to learn about like leftist politics and shit like that. Like, I was like you once. Yeah? You might look at me and think, DJ Mule knows all this stuff. It's like, no, I'm not even one of the smart ones. I'm nowhere near as smart as Feek. Like, Feek knows his fucking shit. This guy was a teacher. And, you know, I'm just fucking donkus jonkus monkus. We just have a silly little laugh. But there's very, like, basic ways to understand this stuff, but they're not accessible. Do you know what I mean? They're not accessible. Like, it took me years to even know what actually gentrification was. And now I'm a housing activist. It's like, okay, there are easy ways that we can communicate this to people. We have to stop being like obfuscative in how we fucking communicate. We have to let people know the real shit. It's like, do you ever wonder why that prison looks so good and all the houses around it are really, really nice, but where you live in is a shithole and the prison looks shit? Right, well, because they don't give a shit about your area. It's not gentrified yet. And if they do start making things look nice, you better believe you're getting evicted. Do you know what I mean? It's easy, like, most of leftism comes down to, like, your material conditions and how you experience things, and you can relate that to everybody in the world because we're all in this machine together, you know? Anyway, bit of a tangent there, but I think it's important to say to anybody who might be watching this and think, like, oh, I'm not sure about prison abolition, or I'm not sure about, like, abolishing the police. Don't worry. Don't worry, man. As long as you don't, like, you know, make it our problem. Whatever. If you're here to learn, you're here to understand stuff, that's all good. No worries.
Just a few years ago, its population was reduced to less than 150 prisoners in this huge building, just so the federal government could clean house in the prison's leadership and administration. The entire thing is an absolute farce. But to the layman that missed the news coverage, that doesn't know anything about how prisons work, they might just pass by it. When I drive past this prison with my kids, they often ask, "Daddy, what is that building?" When I told them it was a prison, they responded with something along the lines of, "Oh, so there's bad guys in there." To which I answered, "No, son, not really." As you can imagine, as much as possible, I try to impart a lot of knowledge to my children. If you ask,
this is why I don't want to have kids, chat. This is the only thing that's like stopping me from like really having any dreams of having children. It's like having to explain to them that everything that is in this world is a lie. You know what I mean? And it's all because 80 to 100 people want to have a lot of money all the time. You know? Like, just, oh God, like, imagine, because then they'd be like, why did you have me then? What if your kids grow up to be weird commenters also? No, my parents never said that to me, Valerie. Also, welcome to the stream. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, my parents never said that to me, even if they knew it. Because they were like, not doing it. Not doing it. Not doing it. Not doing it. You know? Crazy, man. Crazy. Oh, hey, Spectra. What's going on? Good to see you. Oh my God, chat, I've got two mods here tonight. This is a special occasion. Let's get some love for the mods. Look at you. I'm so proud. I'm so proud. Oh, Zach! Yeah, that's right. How's it going, Zach? Good to see you. Thanks so much for the raid, buddy. Everybody, please go follow Zach, an excellent comrade from down under. He's friends with that one guy from Mad Max. He lives in Mad Max, innit? Everybody, please go follow ACAB. Thank you for the shout out, Spectra. I really appreciate that. How is your show today, dude? Like, if you love my politics, you'll love Zach's politics. He's a top leftist, very into composting, soil, growing things, aren't you? So, you know, if you love all that, you'll love Zach. Go follow him. Go follow him. Who do we got coming in from Zach's stream? We got Jabo. Hello. I think that's how I say you. Jabo69 as well, no less. Very nice name. We also got Von Munchausen. Zeod UK. Hello. How's it going? It's good to see you. It's good to see you. The best beard in ages, more mule. It's true. It's very, very true. Yeah, welcome in. If you don't know me, my name's djmuel. I'm a polyamorous, bisexual, housing activist, leftist, anarchist from the UK. We're currently checking out FD Signifier's video on combination police abolition and prison abolition. Extremely based. I know that I think the last time you raided me, Zach, I was actually doing a prison abolition stream, like maybe 2 weeks ago. I think you might have raided me since then, but I don't know. But I think it might have been 2 weeks ago I was doing a literal prison abolition stream. Like, the whole fucking stream was about that shit. So yeah, apologies if this is like the same message again, but I'm big on it, surprisingly. You know, this is what you're learning. This is what you're learning. But anyway, we're going to check out the video again. I'll say the same thing that I said to my chatters earlier. Please support our leftist video content creators. You know, like the video, subscribe, share it on your social media of choice. Tell your friends, tell your family, have it playing. One of the really most effective things you could do, and I know it sounds silly and convoluted, is actually play this video at the same time you're watching the stream, but just have it in like a muted tab, or like in another tab that's like lowered, like you've lowered the volume and stuff. Yeah, it just really helps out our comrades. Aren't we all in prison to some degree? Zach, that's a question that we've been asking since the 1500s or something like that.
To my son about the British, he's probably going to say something about the ravages of colonialism. I am bringing them up right. This is to counteract a lot of myth making that is ingrained in the education systems and media that our children consume.
Fuck Paw Patrol.
Make the world a better place.
But even in doing that, it's a bit harder to perfectly explain the messed up nature of crime, justice, and prison to a child. And it doesn't help that these children are already developing a perspective of what America's justice system is based on common opinions about them that they see on TV.
Cops, central organization of police specialists, fighting crime in a future time, protecting Empire City from Big Boss and his gang of crooks.
So much of our culture is shaped by ideologies that look at issues of justice simplistically. Things are either right or wrong, good or bad, legal or illegal.
No in between.
Laws are made to keep us from we want to. On the contrary,
I grew up on this. Well, I think everybody grew up on a cop show of some form, right? I think like maybe because I constantly think, I used to watch a lot of like Dragon Ball Z. That was like my favorite thing. And the thing about Dragon Ball Z is that like even some of Goku's like strongest opponents, he was even like, oh, what are you doing? Why don't you try and be nice? And he like tries to give him a second chance. And he's like, I've wanted to give you a second chance, Freezer. Why don't you stop this destruction? And blah, 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 blah. But like they never do, you know? Because they're just evil, so he like beats them up. Anyway, I don't know, but like some of them become friends, like Vegeta and like Majin Buu or something. Oh yeah, Krillin is actually a cop, isn't he? Oh my god, you're right. You're fucking right. Zach, what the fuck? It still doesn't think you're a... Well, do you know what, Zach? You shouldn't be upset about getting purged by the bot with links, because Catgirl Steph has been in this community for easily like fucking hell. How long have... like a year, like almost a year, I think, and it still doesn't let her post links. So don't worry about it; it's fine. But what did you post? What is it? This is Australia's Dare Guy, Dare. Constable Care. Oh no. Oh, I hate it, man. I hate this so much. You know, this is so fucked, right? Oh, hang on. Can I do image? Yeah, there we go. Right, this is so fucked on so many levels, right? On so many levels, because this turns like police into cartoon characters. That's what I mean. Why is their mascot a human? It's like this. They know that police. This is like really fucking me up. They know that police are like horrible, nasty people. Like in general, yeah, in general. Like when you find like a police officer, like they like 9 times out of 10 have like abused their position. 40% of cops are domestic abusers that we know of, and this is actually like them trying to be like, no, they're just puppies. You know what I mean? This is like actually what this is about, innit? Like this, it's obviously, very fucking obviously. Just so like kids grow up thinking like, yeah, call the cops. Yeah, it's fine. I just like this for more reasons than propaganda. Oh no, for sure, I agree. I know what you're getting at. Like it's actually like cursed as fuck. It's cursed as fuck. So yeah, absolutely fucked. What else did I miss in the chat? Trashnomancer, welcome to the stream. How you doing? I vaguely remember that cartoon. In its defense, I'm pretty sure Hard Top made me gay. It's, you know, many people are saying this. Many people are saying that the Hard Top made me gay. You know, I get that a lot. Mule, you made me gay. Anyway, let's get back. It's also just ugly. Yeah, it's cursed. It's cursed. It's super cursed. It's super cursed. Every police department in Poland has got a mascot. Ours is Commissar Lion. Like the lion is a cool, dangerous predator that goes for the weakest prey in the herd. Right, that's a really shit one. Let me find that. Would I be able to find that? Commissar Lion, Poland? Would I be able to find that? Maybe you could get me a link. Makaranovi Ninja, but I would love to see like propaganda in Poland. Of course it's insane. Like, not saying that like Poland as a whole is insane, but like I know the government, the relationship with the church and the state and stuff, you know? Is that how you write it? Hang on. Let me try that. Let me try Googling that. Oh no. What were they thinking, man? Yeah, this is actually so stupid. This is actually so fucking stupid, isn't it? Because a lion is like, why would you make it a lion? It just doesn't make any sense. Lions literally will like kill and eat things. They're like at the top of the food chain. I don't know, unless it's like some self-aware bullshit. I don't fucking know. Anyway, yeah, awful examples of propaganda all over the world. There we go. We got the Polish one. Unfortunate for the unfortunate Polish leftists out there. Polish people in general, to be honest. Is pride woke? Well, that's true because lions are in a pride, aren't they? So it's woke. Reminds me of the dare lion. Oh, is there a dare lion as well? Okay, well, it's probably that, isn't it? It literally is that. Yeah. Okay, anyway, let's carry on with the video. Let's carry on.
It's law that allows us to live in freedom. Real freedom.
Common opinion says that people that do wrong things deserve punishment, and punishment is always good if it fits the crime. This is a core feature in our society. It is in my son's school environment. Hell, it's even to an extent in our home environment. Everything from Batman to Paw Patrol.
Oh, I know,
a
Macaroni
message
Ninja,
about
yeah.
crime and policing and justice in ways that hide.
I can't remember what I used to call you. It's Maca, innit? Maca is what most people like. That's what Jimmy calls you, innit? Because you got a long ass name. Am I good to call you Maca? Yeah.
Reality of how those systems actually work. The concept of crime and punishment is incredibly complex, yet the average person who has minimal connection to it looks at it with no more complexity than my 10-year-old son. And that's a problem. Because as we look at the nature of crime...
Wait, what do you mean? I disagree with that premise. I don't believe in corporal punishment. I don't think he made an argument for corporal punishment. I don't know. What?
Crime, justice, and prisons, we see not just human atrocities and injustice being done to people with little to no regard, but we also see a core aspect of systemic oppression operating in plain sight with almost everyone's approval and consent. So today I want to contribute to fixing that. I'm going to bite off some really small chunks of this issue and present.
Did he say that the punishment will fit the crime? Well, we'll see what else he says. I'm sure it's not that deep. You get his point now, right. What did the corporal do? That's a good question.
It to you not as the end-all be-all solution or explanation of what's wrong with police and prisons, but as a primer on why all of us need to be looking at prisons with the concept of justice differently. And to help that, as I often do, I got the support of actual experts with a variety of angles and knowledge on the subject.
Let's go.
I think why people want these simple answers a lot of times is because it's easier. Versus having to actually do the work and work through the trauma and the harm that happens within our communities.
This is the only place where the only person I can demonstrate this level of authority with. People often do that with kids, and kids are robbed of their personality.
I need to check out more.
Add the level to that of the fact that we are already ingrained and indoctrinated in our society to carceral and punishment and all the.
I don't know if that's her YouTube name. I think I'm pretty sure her YouTube name is something based on her name, but I'll find out. These things are so tied together, it makes natural sense to us. In fairness to us, it's not that we use the police or violence or anything. That's what he was saying. Yeah.
Others don't. It's just the consequences of when.
Ola Renati, that's right. Yeah, Ola Renati. Yeah, I've been meaning to watch more of her videos. Let's watch some Ola Renati videos. Maybe tomorrow, chat. How about that?
Do it right, because white people can call the police all the time.
The thing to remember is that even without the media or like propaganda, that's going on, right? We are kind of like, even if you never turned on a TV, you never saw any movies, which like obviously is not a thing. But even if you did that, that's kind of how our society is set up. Well, like there has to be this level of buy-in with the police where we just assume that they're good, because if we don't, that's like horrific. And now all of a sudden we have to do like all of this like recontextualizing over everything. I think that it is just a lot easier, and people are a lot more willing to buy into the system and just have stuff that reaffirms that the system that they live in is good, that they live in a just world.
I don't know this YouTuber either.
TV and
check him out.
Film,
skip intro,
and the cops like a perfect marriage.
Prison abolition started in prison.
It's really funny, chat, because I was on TikTok recently, and something came up, and it was like, top 10 video essays that you should check out, and I was like, oh great, time to get depressed because I won't be mentioned and all my friends will be. But the extra depressing thing is that none of my friends were mentioned. In fact, not even any of like the extended people that I know who do like left-wing video essays. And it just came up with like a bunch of people doing like movie review stuff that wasn't nothing leftist about it or anything like that. I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this? These people are video essayists? There was I do take umbrage with one particular one where it was like it was advertising this one video that was like 10 minutes long and it called it a video essay. And I was like, I wouldn't even call my older videos that were like only 20 and 40 minutes long video essays. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. Like a 10-minute long video essay? Give over. 10 minutes is a fucking... It's a snack. It's an hors d'oeuvre. Like it nothing of any substance in it. Probably. I don't know. Maybe it's really good. I don't know. I can't remember. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's an essayette. Yes, great. That's a great word, Spectra. An essayette. Yes, a videoette, isn't it? You know, gatekeeper. You know what? You're right. I'll take it, and I'm fucking owning it. I'm fucking owning it. I don't give a shit. If that's my like one bad thing, yes, I am gatekeeping who is recognized as a video essayist or not. That's it. That's me. That's what I do. That's my one toxic trait. There it is. Video paragraph. Exactly. Thank you. Yes, we're going to keep shaming these people. Anyway, let's carry on.
I just want that to start, and I don't want to say that even on some corny like, oh, we got to center the most marginalized. No, like it started in prisons for a reason, because they were developing their own intellectual thought. So we should see prisoners who were engaged in abolition or engaged in others, organizing against prisons as intellectuals, as thinking people. Not just
nice, Chloe. We'll have to check that out
for our whatever we trying to do, So, and by developing in prison, it had a much more
10 minutes is a video pamphlet
to it than what it's become since it's been popular since like 2020 or whatever.
Historically, black folks.
Oh no! I should absolutely like say this. Like, I'm not saying that those videos have no value. By the way, I'm not saying that at all, even by the slightest. Chat, my mum's ringing me. I can't answer the phone on stream. She wouldn't like it. She'd get really upset. I'm just going to message her. Custom. Hello, Mum. Oh. Hi, just streaming. Oh. There you go. Okay. I could have put the video on while that was happening, but I was saying something. What was I saying? What was I talking about? To be fair, these days, some video essayists are kind of pushing it. I feel like creators find out no matter how long it is, people will watch it. I do watch it, but many times they repeat points they already made, and respecting viewers' time is a nice thing to do. Well, yeah, exactly. Like, well, this is what I'm saying. Like, you can have a 2-hour-long video, and if you've not, like, properly edited it, or you've, like, rushed it out, or, like, anything like that, it's gonna have mistakes in it. Like I've made videos like that. I'm absolutely certain that in Berserk I repeat the same point like multiple times. I did do that like on purpose in some regards with some specific points, but that was only because I knew that people wouldn't listen. And so it's like I said 3 times, I don't care what interpretation you have of Berserk. This is how I feel about it. And I just get all the time, like, so many fucking commenters being like, it's not queer, there's nothing polyamorous about it, what are you on about? Griffith's not trans, blah. And it's like, oh my God, I know, shut the fuck up. Anyway, I definitely had some other points that were not as important to repeat. So, I fully get that. Like, yeah, it's you're gonna have like, yeah. That 10-minute videos are still valuable. Wait, what are you talking about? They are valuable. They are. They absolutely are. But I'm still going to be toxic about it. Because I'm not actually being toxic about it, am I? It's just a little laugh. And titles are all fucking nonsense anyway, aren't they? Anyway, let's crack on. I did watch that really long Jessie Gender video, and I love that she gets to talk about her passions, but I really did not need to watch it. Yeah, I mean, like, look, you know, if someone puts out like a really, really long, like, there's that one guy, isn't there? But I wouldn't call him a video essayist either, because I just think he's a vile piece of shit. There's that Mauler guy, isn't he? He like got so mad. What was the one he got mad at? He did like a 5-hour video response to or something. I can't remember what it was, but he was like so mad at I don't know. It was a H-Bomber guy thing. I can't remember. Yes, Berserk is queer as fuck. Thank you, Maka. That really long Jessie Gender video, the one. Well, you know, maybe there's more. Anyway, listen, I'm pausing Andy again. Let's watch the video.
Had issues with cops, going back to the first form of police.
That's right, PBP.
Slave overseers and eventually slave bounty hunters. But still,
don't forget that, chat. That's literally where cops come from. The 1850s, slave overseers. On large plantations, the person who directed the daily work of the slaves was the overseer, usually a white man, but occasionally an enslaved black man, a driver, promoted to the position by his master, and then that evolved into slave catchers and all that stuff, you know?
Being slave overseers and eventually slave bounty hunters. But still, never has our feeling on a relationship between the police and black people, or hell, all the people, really been more effectively communicated. I mean, it's a reason you never heard a single rapper yelling, "All cops are bastards." Pretty sure most black people don't even know what ACAB is unless a liberal come and explains it.
He has time now to think about what he's done. And I believe he'll turn out all right.
I fucking love Feeks videos, chat. I fucking love Feeks videos. Let's go.
So before getting into the heavier, explicit details about these things and the core arguments and the research and the haymakers about police and the courts, etc., first we got to hold up a mirror. Because I have one overall goal, which is for everyone that watched this video to become a supporter
let's go,
of
Maka, that
policing as we know it and abolishing all prisons. But to really do that, the first thing we have to recognize is that the biggest asset the police and these systems have is our consent and faith in them as institutions.
Yes.
Even folks that know firsthand how trash these systems are will think that it's going too far to say we're going to abolish prisons. The idea of having no justice system, no law and order, that's ridiculous and even dangerous. We need the police to protect and serve, and we need prisons to put away dangerous people so that they can't hurt anyone.
Abolishing the NYPD, that'd be suicide. But yes, they're needed. I push for them to be here. There's too many criminals out here, man. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't feel safe.
No, we need control of the city. So I think the police are necessary.
We'll get to most of that bullshit a little later. I'm not saying that we won't ever need a form of community level security, or that crime will never happen in a world with no police, or that we won't have to figure out what to do about said crime and, more importantly, victims of crime. Nobody who is serious about abolition believes these things.
It's
but
true.
I do want to challenge why we fear this mythical, lawless reality so much in the first place, and why we think the police in our current court system is responsible for the level of safety or justice we currently have. I want you watching this right now to consider just how much actual experience you have with the police and the...
This is the best fucking question you can ask anybody who thinks that police abolition is like a bad idea, because it is always overwhelmingly bad. Police, even if they don't do something bad to you, like, you will experience their personality, and overwhelmingly, police have some of the worst fucking personalities you will ever fucking witness in your entire life. Like, it is just not even remotely funny. Every single copper I've met has like the exact same personality, and they're always like, hello, fucking, you know, just annoying. Literally like the stereotype, Dibble stereotype, Officer fucking Dibble, you know? So it's one of them. I genuinely don't think I know anyone who's had a good experience with the police. Yeah, me neither. I don't even, honestly, you know? Folk talking like a criminal is a human phenotype. Right, exactly. That's how we're conditioned, isn't it? You know? They've gotten so militarized, it's impossible. Shoot first, ask questions later. Yeah, right, exactly.
criminal justice system. Because of the way the algorithm works and what I know about my audience, the chances are if you're watching this video on YouTube, you're watching as a person of relative privilege, probably a relatively decent level of education, which means you probably have not had much engagement with the criminal justice system at any level. If you're black, there's a higher likelihood you've been profiled by police before, pulled over, maybe even detained. But have you ever been arrested? Have you ever been convicted? Do you have people in your family or close to you that have done time? Have you seen the long-term effects of prison on those individuals when they finally come home? Have you ever been victim of a crime and realized how difficult it is to actually get justice? Ever experienced the overall indifference of the police to your well-being after you've called them to come protect and serve?
A number of victims who report sexual assault are treated insensitively, are not believed, are blamed for their assaults, and are traumatized by their experience with police.
That's right,
started
Maka,
to feel
yeah.
like a victim because of my interactions with the police. They didn't believe me. They made me feel ashamed for questioning them. They made me feel like I was making something up.
Have you ever been systematized or even been in court custody or had a child in defects? I ask these questions because if you're watching this, it's highly likely you have little to no experience with these things.
He's now aging out of Georgia's foster care. Christian considers it a legal system that failed him. But the chaos from moving to foster home to one day this year, somewhere truly unexpected.
Yeah, they love that shit, trash
Department of Family and Children's Services office is where he was living.
It didn't make sense to me why this was happening to me. When I came in, I saw a lot of blankets on the floor, a lot of things on the floor. There was not a lot of food in there.
DFACS, the agency tasked with protecting kids.
Let's read some people's police experiences. What do we got? I had a very weird experience with the police that would take too long to type out here. It wasn't negative, but it did give me a lot of insight I didn't have before about their mindsets, which is not good. Yeah. I've had to correct a few cops, but never had to sit before. Fair enough. Impossible to get a job anywhere if you did time. Yeah, that's what they do. That's the thing about prisons. When people call prisons institutions, they don't examine what that word means. If you are an institutionalized person, it means that that place has made you a type of way. And when you get out of prison, because of the way you're dehumanized, because of the way that you're treated, and the things that you now know about the prison system, states, power, and all that kind of shit, because you know those things, you've been unplugged from the matrix in one of like the most violent ways possible. You can't reintegrate with society. It doesn't matter how fucking much rehabilitation you get. The only positive rehabilitation that I've seen people get is join leftist activist groups. You know what I mean? And realize that like some people do empathize with their struggle, which is why it's so important to empathize with prisoners. It is. You know? Like, we were talking about Leonard Peltier yesterday on Red Planet. Native American guy, been inside prison for a crime he didn't commit for 40 years. It's his birthday tomorrow. You know? Send him an email. Check out the Leonard Peltier project. It's super important. Until everyone is free, none of us are free. It's a Mammal says, when I was a gas station attendant, there was a cop who would come in and say he was trying to quit chew and said it was affecting his relationship, so I always pushed him to buy. When I saw him pull up, I get a few cans ready to convince him to buy. I kind of feel like an asshole, but he was a cop. Wait. Quit chew? What's chew? I don't know what you're on about. What's chew? I've been arrested, but everything else, no. That's why I learned to hate the cops at 15. The fuckers literally made shit up about me and told me if I was just 1 year older, they'd throw me in jail. Yeah, the only experience I had with cops when I was younger was my stepdad was a cop. He was a horrific piece of shit to me. Did some awful things to me. And, I'm pretty certain that him being a cop enabled him to do that. I'm absolutely certain of it. And we got our house burgled once. I don't even know what you would call it. Like, basically some kids broke in and they had like machetes and big fucking sticks and shit, and they kicked the door in. It was just me and my stepdad in the gaff, and I had no idea what to do. I think I was like 16, 17 or something. So I got in my fucking cupboard. I just hid in my cupboard and got on the phone to the cops. And when the guys, when the kids had like run out my room, jacked all my shit, I just fucking like spoke to the cops. And they were saying shit like, why don't you go upstairs and help your stepdad? What if he's getting stabbed? And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm fucking 17. What are you on about? This is your job. What's going on? And they just like didn't turn up. I was like, are they on the way? They're like, yeah, don't worry, I'll stay on the phone with you. They'll be there soon. And I was, and then I had to tell them, you know, my stepdad's a copper, innit? And they went, which copper? And I told them his name, and they were there in 2 minutes, but they were still late. That's how incompetent police are. Like, that's the most, as I was saying that, I like reminded myself, like, oh my God, yeah, they were still late. They were still late. Even though they were like helping one of their own and they came rapid, like they were still late. They still missed the fucking kids. I can't, honestly, that's the most absurd bit about that story for me. Anyway, since then, because of who I am and what I look like, I've not had much interaction with the police, except for at protests, where I have been assaulted by police multiple times. Awful. Awful bastards. Anyway, the person who was la-di-da about their COVID was, in fact, a cop. Johnny, I'm disappointed. I can't believe you hang out with cops. Maybe, you know, if you hadn't have considered that before, maybe consider the fact that they're a dickhead about COVID and add those two things together, and maybe just don't be friends with that guy. Because, again, that's cop brain, right? And it's not cop brain in the way that I talk about it sometimes. It's cop mentality, yeah? Like, I don't have to be responsible for my fucking actions. That's what it is. It's a cop mentality. It's like, you can't put me in prison. I'm a cop. I'll do what I want. Literally. Anyway. My grandfather went to jail twice for selling weed during the Thatcher era. Heard some horror stories about what the conditions were like. Poor bastard. Yeah, the conditions have been awful in prisons for a long time. One stat I found in my video on cops was that in the UK, you're more likely to get assaulted again by the police if you report an assault than you are to see what we're told is justice. Yeah. My grandfather was a copper. He was a deputy in New Jersey. Never had to pull his service weapon ever in a line of duty. Well, it's good that he didn't. Unfortunately, still a bastard. Sorry. Yeah, even your family members who decided to be cops were bastards. Definitely fucking arrested people for laws that just simply, you know, are made up and don't actually make society better. I think my only police interaction was a cop recruit in my school, and mainly talked about how much they get paid, how it's really easy to do the training, you don't need to do shit. Yeah, pretty telling, innit? Mostly avoid police. Yeah, it's a good idea. Dungeon Sub-Boss says, I've been groped by a police officer because I was loitering. It took me 2 years to finally come to terms that the police as an institution are fundamentally a bad thing. I'm so sorry, this Dungeon Sub-Boss. That's an awful thing to have gone through, honestly. Awful. Oh my God, you printed the Anarchist Cookbook in the school library? That's funny as fuck, Chloe. That's actually funny as fuck. Hey, Zadaz, how you doing? Good to see you. Chew is chewing tobacco? Right, okay. So the cop I say I was a victim of basically got away without getting significantly physically hurt. They just did nothing. Yeah, they do nothing. They clearly did not give a solitary thought the whole thing, or just a tone of you just exaggerating. Yeah, I believe you. I was attacked by a bunch of chavs while coming home from a youth club. Police were nearby, so I flagged them down with blood dripping from my nose and told them what happened, pointing to the group who was still in sight, and they just drove off. Yeah. Understandable. Damn, look at all these cop stories. Look at all these cop stories, chat. This could be a video on its own. If everyone's happy with that, by the way, you know, I'll hide your names and shit from the chat. It's doable. Cop stopped me for driving a moped on the county highway, asked me why I thought he pulled me over, guessed it was in the long expired plate that was not for a moped, told him he was wrong, told him to ask dispatch, came back, said he'd been doing the job for 22 years. It was a learning opportunity for both of us. So even though it was him that got something wrong, he still tried to make out that you needed to learn something as well, just to feel superior. Gotta hate cops. Gotta fucking hate cops. Holy shit, fuck them. So bad. What do we got? I stopped in front of a bank to check something in my bag. 2 cop cars pulled me up to harass you for suspicious behavior. Fucked. When I got mugged when I was 16, the police didn't believe my account because I behaved strangely for the situation. They're eventually convinced when my mum outlined my autism. But if I'd been interviewed on my own, they probably would have dismissed me for fantasizing, having an unreliable memory or something. Oh, yeah. Not a horrible experience. I think that is a horrible experience, though, Sorka. Like, if it wasn't for your mum, like, they would have done that. That's still awful. I'm sorry you went through that. The guards questioned you for an assault after you called the ambulance. Oh, well, the fucker who actually did the assault was screaming at the top of the steps beside you. Fucking hell. Of course. My encounter with the police, thankfully minimal, but an off-duty cop did grab my arm to tell me off for wearing a machine fucking head t-shirt. Like, yes, assault is necessary for a rude word. Oh my God, Splootnu, that might have been my stepdad. Especially if it happened in Manchester. Oh my God, that's fucked. Because he's gone on about that to me before. And obviously he's not a cop anymore. Anyway, vile. They can't even hurry up properly. They can't. They literally can't. Also, not a personal experience, but one my sister experienced. She was being stalked by a client from a realtor job, so she got the cops on him. They went to question him, and they just believed his lie that she was just a crazy ex, and that was that. Thankfully, he didn't do anything after that. Fuck me. That's fucked. Use mine if you like. Cool. I did convince a friend to leave a cop-adjacent job to do something better with his life. One of my prouder moments. Let's go. Let's go, Gobs. My ex-girlfriend mum had been a cop. She got to be a cop after she had a statutory rape charge. They just do not care. Yeah, no, they don't. They don't. Dozens of negative interactions with cops. But once a guy who didn't identify himself with a gun forced himself into helping my mum with her car without asking, and only after did he say he was a cop. Fuck. What the fuck? What, like an undercover cop? Christ alive. Or just like he had a gun like on his hip, and so she like shit herself and like just went, oh, okay. That's fucked, Prince. That's fucking fucked. If that's what even what you said is fucked.
House foster youth in its county.
Anyway, so there you go, chat. Lots of different reasons from like the very normal people who are in my Twitch chat, yeah, as to why cops actually don't protect us. And every time they have a fucking experience with someone, it's no good. It's no good.
Offices for months on end.
We're staying here because they don't have nowhere for us to go.
The majority of us who lend power to the system don't really know what the system feels like in real life.
I think when we are passively consuming escapist content over and over again, it tends to become our main contact point, especially for like white people or people who don't have a lot of interaction with the police. The main way you interact with the police is through these cop shows. That is their main contact point. So like they think about the police, they think about crime, and they're like, well, I saw this on Law and Order once. And you know, that might not be realistic, but that's like what I got.
Going back to my sons, they're lucky enough that their main engagement with the police are from security officers in their schools. And they're all...
Even that is fucked, isn't it, chat? Let's face it. Just the whole situation of like, in the USA, they got to have cops in schools. Messed up. Like, they've got cops in schools in the UK. Like, they will come in to do like random checks in like certain schools, and you know what I mean by certain schools in it, chat. Schools where there's an overwhelming amount of racialized kids. And like the rare times that it does happen has been like so bad that there are huge campaigns. Kids of color are doing one. I think it's like an ongoing one at the minute about getting cops out of schools in the UK. So they're just huge campaigns that have come out from that, you know.
Black men with smiling faces and gentle, strong demeanors.
Cops are the worst customers. Yeah,
drop my boys off, and that's the natural cognitive dissonance that you might have.
Your campus cop sits in the parking lot all day.
Officers and the societal role that they inhabit. And I'm not saying that cognitive dissonance needs to go away and that you have to see all police officers as demons. And most people don't feel that way. But most people also don't have to engage with the full reality of the system, and they think that police only exist in this positive, helpful space that we are lucky to experience depending on the background and privilege that you have right now. When people get money, much like an Ice Cube, they tend to have a very different perspective on how the police treat people. Ice Cube started out as fuck the police, and now he's doing interviews with Tucker Carlson talking about bootstrap politics because Ice Cube is now a very rich man. And
what, I hate to bring this up, chat, but wasn't Ice Cube the guy who came up with the idea for the show where they got like a white family and put them in blackface? And then got like a, and got like a black family and put them in whiteface. And obviously like the only thing that came out of that show was like just racism, just like more and more racism. Like that fucking, as soon as the dad in that white family was blacked up, he was just saying the N-word so much. It was so bad. It was so bad. I gotta find out if this is true. Ice Cube, black/white. Oh, it's not black/white. It's black.white. He was like involved in some way. RJ Cutler. He was a producer. He was an executive producer. That was what it was. The show was produced and created by Ice Cube and RJ Cutler. Anyway, yeah, Ice Cube, not the greatest guy. Not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm not playing any of that show on this stream because it's just too much. It's just too much. If you want to go and watch some of that show, it's up to you. It's I wouldn't say it's like a bad thing to watch it, but it is like you will cringe so far into your own arse. It's unbelievable. It's actually unbelievable. So anyway, oh yeah, it won a fucking Emmy for makeup and effects, didn't it? Yes, the outstanding makeup. What did they try to prove? I think they were trying to say Ice Cube has gone on record. Hi, Rohamil, by the way. Ice Cube has gone on record about it, saying that people weren't ready for the conclusions that show came to, which meant that like even if basically it's semi-based, but obviously like the whole blackface thing, questionable. I don't know. Not for me to say, not for me to be the be all and end all judge of that, you know. Listen to black people who've criticized it, but like I would say, I think the idea was that Ice Cube and RJ Cutler were trying to say that like even if white people experience life as a black person or like a racialized person or whatever, they will still retain some of the awful racist bits that they're just like ingrained into thinking, because they always think that they like understand what it's like to be black. Like white people, like I used to think it all the time when I used to hear about racism. I used to be like, why don't you just like not let it bother you? Like I used to get called gay all the time at high school and blah, blah, blah. It's like it's different. It's not like that. You know what I mean? Like you don't have that experience. It's about like microaggressions and systemic things and material conditions. It's all this shit. So yeah, I think they were trying to, because Ice Cube said like people weren't ready for the conversation that would come about as a result of that, which is that like white people will still be racist even if they've quote unquote experienced black life. So that's what I think they were trying to prove. Jarvis Johnson and Jordan Attica did reaction videos for a few episodes. I recommend those rather than just the show on its own. Fucking yeah, totally. I love Jarvis Johnson, so I'm definitely going to check out what he's got to say on it. But I have a feeling I kind of know.
When he made that song is a very different person than who he is now.
If you are a person who is not regularly interacting with crime or poverty, then every time you see a dark street, a dark alley or something, you're seeing it on TV.
304, 1031 on foot. Westbound on Baden.
And that means something awful is probably happening in that alley, which means that even if most alleys are fine, every time you see one, you are scared of it because the only thing you've ever seen happen in them is like murder.
Right.
You tend to like fear things like that. I've recognized this with like my extended family. Like they're scared of cities. because that's where the crime is. Because that's the only time that they ever see cities is on TV and these cop shows.
When we talk about prison abolition, we talk about trying to actually address the problems that are really inside our community. You know, we started to think about transformative justice and how to deal with conflicts and harm that is done within the community, because a lot of people think of crimes, they're thinking of harm, right? Because most crimes, let's be real, aren't really about harm. Like, for example, a lot of people are arrested for drug crimes, which isn't about like you harming someone. Nobody's going out to harm somebody when they're using drugs. Nobody's going out to harm
Suburbanite
somebody
brain
even
rot mixed
when
into
they're
all of
selling
it.
drugs.
Absolutely.
Now you argue that people using drugs are harming themselves, and then selling people is whatever, like adds to that. But that also
That is actually a really based sticker. I love that. Make gentrifiers' lives unlivable. That's really good.
would argue generally people are using drugs because of the trauma that they have faced in their community that already is existing from all the way back to slavery, and it's just passing down this trauma over and over again, and getting reinforced by the system itself.
I think the first thing that people need to understand about abolition, and I always put it this way, is that abolition is a vision for the future. You know, it is, abolitionists are aware. We are aware of the fact that they're not going to just, open up all the prisons and close the courts and get rid of all the police tomorrow or today. And we recognize that we also don't have the infrastructures in place to do that, right? The idea is that investing in criminalization of people and putting more money and resources into under-resourced communities and people so that you could police them and incarcerate them and saddle them with debts and criminal records and all of these things don't actually address crime. This isn't just about, that I just care about the criminals, which is a whole nother conversation, but it's about caring about yourself and trying to stop crime and recognizing that, well, a system that has created a profit system on incarcerating people it literally is in the business of regurgitating and repeating that because that's what keeps the system running.
When you I think like the way that I see prison abolition going when it eventually happens, if it doesn't happen because of like some kind of vile climate behemoth scenario whereby fascism triumphs and people just end up breaking out of prisons because of the gross underfunding or whatever, like, the way that the sort of like fascist politics works or whatever. If, the leftist future happens, which I think it will intentionally, I think, go like this. It will be like, first of all, petty offenders, so people who've stolen things, people who've done fraud, stuff like that, because in a socialist future, people will have, the means to actually like live without, having to worry about where the next check is coming from, kind of thing. Like, you will be cared for, yeah? Then it's about expanding the conversation while centering victims to like find out, okay, first of all, how do we like prevent these things like sexual assaults, violent assaults, murders? How do we stop those things from happening? Like really putting like that money into prevention, find out where they come from. It's probably a lot to do with like patriarchy, probably a lot to do with, well, it's not even probably, it's like provably a lot to do with patriarchy, provably a lot to do with, people's material conditions and healthcare being that main material condition, the reason that people do that. So, it's probably just with time that those things will stop happening in it. You know what I mean? I was once smoking censored herbs in a dark alley at like 11 p.m. and a groundkeeper for a nearby construction site walked by. It was really nice. We spoke about legalization for a bit. Meanwhile, my mugging occurred in broad daylight or something that was barely a side street. Yeah, I got mugged when I was like fucking 12 or something. And it just happened in like you say, same broad daylight. And this guy with a knife just like forced me to go to an ATM, and I was like, oh, okay, like kiddie bank account, vile shit, by the way, vile shit. That guy like robbing a kid, like, man, that guy is gonna have gotten some like awful karma somewhere down the line, man. I know it for a fact. But yeah, he jacked 50 quid off me that day. That was all my savings. Couldn't believe it. Awful. What was I reading now? It isn't about stopping crime, it's about monetizing the marginalized. Yeah, the prison system, yep, 100%. Question, if people who get convicted for a crime, instead of being locked away, get forced into doing community service and live in community housing buildings instead, would that be still a prison but just a bigger cage? I don't know what you mean by like community housing. Doing the community service would be carceral punishment, like corporal punishment. Like you would be punishing someone for something that they did. And we know that that's ineffective. It's ineffective in most circumstances. And in a socialist future, people will be, you know, actually doing community service because they want to do it, you know? So I think when you think about prison abolitionist futures, when you think about prison reform, first of all, what you must know about prison reform is what we have right now is a reform of the prison system. So it doesn't change anything. It's not an abolitionist reform. It's just a reform, right? Definitely check out, like, if you're unsure as to what I mean by like abolitionist reform or a non-reformist reform and general reforms, you can check out a Red Planet episode. We did a Red Planet episode on that. I think it's on Kira Chat's channel rather than the official Red Planet YouTube page. But we did a whole stream on that, like non-reformist reforms. In fact, do you know who was on the episode for that? It was Feek. So there you go. There you go. If what you mean by like live in community housing is like wear a tag or some shit like that, you know what I mean? Because like we already have that now. Like you're talking about things that already exist. Like home arrest is still like a form of carceral punishment. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you can only go outside for 3 hours a day, and if the tag gets caught, oh my god, we'll be round in a shot and we'll put you back in that cell, bro. Like, these things already exist, you know?
They abolish prisons. The question that people will usually bring to you is, what about the rapists and murderers? What about the abusers and the sexual predators and all the people that we tend to think police and jails protect us from? Again,
this is the real shit, chat, and I think Feek is going to mention this, but we spoke about this on the prison abolition stream. It's like, they don't really arrest that many of them, you know? I don't know if you knew this, but they don't actually do that. Absurd. Absolutely absurd. There you go. Thanks, PvP. Catgirl Steph as well. Thanks. I know you had the link as well. Yeah, scared of getting purged. I understand. It's fine. But yeah, there, Peanut Butter Princess has posted the link in the chat. M4A and non-reformist reforms with FD signifier on Kira Chat's channel. So there you go. Thinking like military accommodation from World War II movies. Well, that's something I was thinking would be better than that, but actually no. Why would I have a couple of things? Is it just that you don't know like what the word barracks is? Like you're thinking of like a military barracks, you know? Because again, like, you know, we already have that. Like there are definitely like low security prisons that have that stuff already, and again, they don't prevent anything, they don't stop anything. Like what you have to do is you have to get out of your head that prisons are preventing any kind of crime or prisons are like doing anything good. That's the whole reason of this video. Like Feek's going to talk about this shit right now, so I'll just let him do it.
And ask yourself how much you know about these situations. Most sexual assaults are never even prosecuted, and most murders are never solved by a wide margin. Worse yet, many sexual assaults that result in arrest never go to trial. I'm sure many of us remember Brock Turner from a few years ago. That situation where this person was convicted of rape and did not see any jail time is not as rare as you think. According to one study, less than 60% of convicted
no jail time, and he was convicted.
Sex offenders ever spend time in a prison. One study in Idaho tracking Pedialyte drinkers found that only 28% of those convicted of child sexual assault actually went to jail. We are already living in the world that people are telling us to fear without the police.
Yep.
So why are we so invested in this myth that it does work? Why is it so important?
Because we've been lied to.
See those who really suffer under the system as deserving of that suffering if it means that this myth can be maintained. There's a lot of answers as to why that's the case. I could fill up 5 more videos, but for the sake of time, we're going to focus on
it's all good. It's all good,
Rohamil. View crime and criminals in this country, and conversely, how we view the police, and how these views make the horrors of this system seem justified, maybe even normal. So let's go back in time. Coming out of the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 60s and the Supreme Court era of the 70s, relatively significant actions were taken to address racism in the United States. However, these actions were almost always met with overt resentment and resistance from white Americans.
It is very appropriate that from this cradle of the Confederacy, this very heart of the great Anglo-Saxon Southland, that today we sound the drum for freedom.
So I think this is like a fantastic example that he's brought in, because it proves that the state's power is not like what you think. It doesn't, just because the state goes, things don't change, right? And that's really powerful when considering prison abolition, because it's like, oh, just because the state says so-and-so is illegal doesn't mean that the thing that they do to stop the illegal stuff actually works, right? And you have to ask yourself, right, okay, so we know that the state has a lot of power. This isn't me saying the state doesn't have power. It absolutely does, and it wields its power on display all the time when they do things like military shows, marches for police, all that kind of stuff. And when they face down riots, when they face down dissent, you know? I guess like the lens that you've got to look at through in order to understand prison abolition as a whole is that, like, you know, just because the state says something is legal doesn't automatically mean that everybody in society all of a sudden goes, oh, okay, cool, that's great. Because as we're seeing here, when segregation was ended, or at the end of the Jim Crow era, I think it is, you know, black women would go to like these black little girls would go to like all white schools, and the kids would be fucking like throwing shit at her, calling her, you know, all the names, you know. Hey, Mr. Dang, how's it going? Do British people experience extreme cringe when racist Americans invoke Anglo-Saxon in their racism? No, because like we have no attachment to the Anglo-Saxon identity. It's not our identity. It's not even remotely anything to do with us. There's nothing about it present in society, and the only people who say Anglo-Saxon and shit like that in the UK are racists over here as well. So that's a good question, actually. That's a good question.
And I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
And the result from the 1970s going forward was nearly 40 years of Republican-dominated governments in America, often elected using Southern strategies popularized by Richard Nixon and Barry Goldwater. The Southern strategy, for those who do not know, was basically using the fear of black anything to rile up voters and get them to vote and empower Democrats who would eventually become modern-day Republicans.
Yeah.
Bush and Dukakis on crime. Bush supports the death penalty for first-degree murderers. Dukakis not only opposes the death penalty, he allowed first-degree murderers to have weekend passes from prison. One was Willie Horton, who murdered a boy in a...
This is like a famous thing. It's so fucked up.
Robbery, stabbing him 19 times. Despite a life sentence, Horton received 10 weekend passes from prison. Horton fled, kidnapped a young couple, stabbing the man and repeatedly raping his girlfriend. Weekend prison passes. Dukakis on crime.
People often think the culture wars that we're dealing with online all the time today are new, but they're really not. There's always been racial and gender divides.
Yeah, exactly. One who reads. Yeah, this is the thing that people don't forget. That was in the 60s. That was in the 60s. Not that advert that we just watched, but like end of the Jim Crow era. It was like 60s or whatever, maybe 70s, late 60s. It's just like so fucking ridiculous.
Have always bled
recent
into
history,
or often stemmed from political divides, and they almost always are between a dominant group fighting to keep a subordinate group from making progress. It's often seen as deserving versus undeserving, but what it really is meant to be is white versus black, or rich versus poor. That said, in this time period, it wasn't hard to entrench a negative public sentiment toward inner city urban areas as Americans witnessed urban decay that had never been seen before, a result of generations of disinvestment and economic and social exploitation of Black and brown people in places like New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Baltimore, etc. And this image of Black and brown people tearing each other apart in the inner cities was the status quo of the time for that entire time. But a change of sorts came in the early 90s when Bill Clinton became the first Democratic president in 12 years and one of only 2 Democrats to be the president in almost a 40-year period. And this happened because Clinton led a rightward shift in Democratic policies, promising to address crime and cult welfare. And with some help from third-party spoiler Ross Perot, Clinton beat incumbent George Bush Sr. to become president in 1992.
Congratulations.
Hey, Skidada, how you doing? Welcome in.
2 years later, Clinton would...
Everybody go follow Skidada. He's a great streamer. Can I get a shout out, please, Chloe or Spectra or both?
The 1994 crime bill, guided by his wife and future senator / presidential candidate Hillary Clinton and current president and former vice president Joe Biden.
It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my sons.
That's Joseph Robinette Biden talking about black people, folks.
So I don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the street.
The crime bill has been talked about a ton.
Well, you know, he will be insinuating that those people doing those things are black for sure. You know, whether or not that's explicitly said in his little speech there, we won't know, but it will certainly be fueled by that, won't it?
In the last decade or so.
Anyway, here's your shout out, Squid.
Disastrous results of it have now really become impossible not to notice. Policymakers at that time leaned into tough on crime ideology as opposed to the more obvious and also well-known research around social and community development to address crime. The bill made little to no investment into the poor by design urban centers of America that I spoke about earlier.
We make way more food than all humans could eat already. I think there's more vacant houses than homeless people in most places because the housing market is a lovely place. Yep. Yeah, based. You know the score, Macca. Like, you know, you've been in Jimmy streams for too long. You're a fucking commie bastard like all of us now. Getting unplugged from the Matrix by Jimmy McGinger. Everybody go follow Jimmy McGinger. I love that guy. I miss him so much. I've not hung out with him in a long time, and he's a fantastic streamer. If you like your video games to be played, your video game streams to be played by leftists, you'll love Jimmy McGinger.
Earlier. Instead of investment in those cities, millions were spent on funding the police, expanding federal prisons, and fighting the war on drugs. Policies were instituted for mandatory minimum sentences, 3-strike rules, and countless other new reasons to put predominantly poor people and disproportionately black people in prison.
You watch Hassan and the rest from time to time? There you go.
And Truth in Sentencing Incentive Grant Program, which gave out $12.5 billion in grant money, not for education, healthcare, housing, or community investment, but for building prisons to house all the newly incarcerated. And it worked in a multitude of ways. It's fair to say that the crime bill reduced crime, although it's also fair to say that crime was reducing beforehand.
And the thing that is always striking to me, and I think really underplayed in our national discourse over crime, is that we don't really understand it. If you go into the 80s and the 90s, you see crime goes way, way up in the 70s, way, way up in all kinds of different jurisdictions, more or less all at the same time. And then it begins going way, way down in all kinds of different places all at the same time. So you have stories that people know, like there's New York with Rudy Giuliani and broken windows policing and stop and frisk. But it also goes down in all these places that didn't do what New York City did. It's so widespread, both the rise and the fall, that you end up having researchers trying to think of even broader explanations, like whether or not lead and the amount of lead in young kids' bloodstream.
Oh my God, it's so fucking annoying. Like, they would rather believe that lead poisoning is what made people do crime than the material conditions we suffer under capitalism, or that the police just lie. You know? Like people really are so limited by capitalist realism. They have no fucking possible way of imagining that, like, maybe the system is fucked. People will say, like, oh, the system's fucked, but they'll be talking about, like, the electoral system or something like that, and they won't see how, like, bureaucracy and corporations and all this kind of stuff affects it as well. Anyway. Right, exactly. Lead poisoning is a result of capitalism, but, like, you know, they won't be looking at it through that lens, will they? They'll be looking at it in, like, oh, lead is a really harmful substance and we didn't know what we were doing. We better not use it anymore.
And thus the effect on their executive function when they got older, maybe that's the causal mechanism.
And it's definitely more fair to say that the bill greatly increased mass incarceration, which had also been spiking since the Reagan era. Now, since the 2010s, statistically, incarceration has been lessening as people realizing the problems of this bill have started to make changes to undermine its damages. But understand, the damage had already been done. I bring all of this up because we often look at the failure of this bill as something that happened to the Black community from white political forces. And while this is overall true, it's not a useful or fair critique of what actually happened. A more accurate critique requires us to engage with the fact that a lot of Black people, many who were directly suffering under an epidemic of crime and drugs, were on board with this bill from day one.
Let me start out with this. I am ashamed of my vote. I sincerely apologize to my God, apologize to my community, to my family. That was the worst vote, as I look back over the years, that I've taken since I've been in the Congress.
And that brings me back to the question of the first section. Why were Black people so willing to see carceral punishment as a fix to societal problems of crime? The 1994 crime bill was endorsed by the Congressional Black Caucus, and it was supported by Black Democratic leaders like the only Black senator at the time, Carol Moseley Braun.
I could cite statistics such as these regarding the level of violent crime in our society for the rest of this evening, but the numbers only serve to illustrate what we already know. I believe that the federal government must act to help take back our streets, to ensure that every man, woman, and child in this country feels safe in their communities, in their schools, and in their homes. And that is why it is imperative that Congress send this bill to the president as soon.
Or the current so-called kingmaker, Jim Clyburn.
But people say that, it at least perpetuated the idea that more people should be imprisoned. Do you ever think about that your support for this bill may have perpetuated mass incarceration as we see it now?
Yeah, I think about that. I just don't think that's true.
And this is not to say that other Black Democrats like the late great John Lewis or Maxine.
Then you're not thinking hard enough, are you, pal? That's the truth. Like, let's face it. Like, you can say like a snarky comment like, yeah, I think about that. I just don't think it was true. Like, well, you're not actually thinking about it then, are you? You're probably just having like an intrusive thought that's probably trying to trigger something, you know what I mean? Probably like the universe is trying to tell you something. It's like, hey, remember that thing that you did? And then his immediate defense is like, no, it was good. And that's that. And then he goes to sleep every night on a big pile of money.
Waters didn't oppose the bill as a whole.
We know the best way of effectively reducing crime lies in addressing the root causes of crime. Unfortunately, there is no issue we face where the difference between responsible governing and political popularity is so great. In the politics of crime, the right thing and the politically popular thing are total opposites. The best politics of crime involves the emotional appeal.
He is saying crime, isn't he? Like crime. I don't know what accent that is, but like just crime. I like love how that sounds. I know it sounds weird. I think it's becoming like a stim thing for me. Anyway, I don't know.
Mandatory minimum sentences.
Crime school.
Life without parole. No rehabilitation. More death penalty provisions and put them to death quicker by cutting out the appeals. That strategy appeals to emotion and helps politicians get elected, but it does nothing to reduce crime in the streets.
But they were still responding to pressure from regular Black people.
Oh, it's a Louisiana accent. Right. Okay. Fair enough.
The crosshairs of this problems to do something, anything about the crime in these communities. There were plenty of black people asking for community investment and deterrence programs and fighting against 3-strike rules and mandatory minimums. But overall, a lot of black folks seem to think that the police would easily be able to tell the good black folks from the bad, and that the deserving would benefit and that the undeserving would suffer.
Welcome in.
Question of additional police officers. If we hired the right police officers and if they did the right thing, would that have an impact on the crime rate?
I doubt it. As I said before, even if you hire the right police officers and they're doing the right thing all the time, what are you going to do with them? They're going to be walking all over top of each other. In this country, I think we're down. Those numbers are even greater. When there was a time 20 years ago when my department had 8,500 police officers. We're now down to 6,200 police officers. The crime rate was higher then than it is now. And those bear the national statistics. So
damn, I wonder why there was more crime when there were more police than when there isn't. That's weird, isn't it? How odd is that?
It's not the number of police officers that you have, it's the job that they perform.
Who remembers a few years ago the awful social media trend of black parents embarrassing their children on Facebook by cutting their hair in ridiculous ways and sending them to school and videotaping the whole thing, or showing up to the school to berate and beat them in front of the world? Who has joked about experiences getting whipped by parents and grandparents? I think it's impossible to deny that the concept of carcerality is low-key a little deep in black culture. And it may start out as, older black folks telling kids to pull their pants up, but it lends itself to a multitude of black people endorsing a corrupt prison system, maybe to prove that they are one of the good ones. I worked with parents and troubled youth a lot over the course of my pre-YouTube career. And one thing that you'll always hear from a parent whose kid is in trouble is how they did everything they were supposed to do to keep their child out of trouble. In fact, they sometimes overpresent these ideas, the fact that they were whipping their child and taking away their child's stuff and embarrassing their child. And you kind of want to tell them, maybe not in the moment, that that's probably part of...
That was the thing, public whipping at school. I don't think it was a thing... It might have been a thing recently. I don't know. I don't know about this trend that he's talking about. I never saw any of that. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it was. Maybe it was. Like that whole thing about like beating your kids or like smacking your kids and shit. Obviously, I can't speak to a black person's experience, and how it is talked about in black circles, but like even in white circles, like here in the UK, like one of the most common things that you'll hear, like even some millennials say, is, "Oh, I got smacked as a kid. I turned out all right." And it's like, dude, you're like misunderstanding like why it's bad. It's not that like people who have violence done to them can't be good people and okay people or whatever. It's just that it's bad. It's just that it's wrong, right? It's just such a fucking weird thing. I got smacked. It was fine. My mum slapped me in the face with a fucking table when I was 12, and look at me, I'm fine. And it's like, what are you on about? What are you talking about? None of that is good. None of that is good. Your mum, why did your mum hit you with a table? Oh, I was acting out or something. You know what I mean? Insane, man. Insane. It's child abuse. That's what it is. It's child abuse. You know? Everyone got paddlings for upsetting the teachers, right? Yeah, so it makes it okay. It makes it fine. You know? My brothers do that. It's gross. Yeah. No, like I hear that a lot. Really bad. I got smacked as a kid and I did not turn out okay. Well, exactly. I think when people say like they turned out okay as well, like I don't think these people are that introspective. You know, if that wasn't obvious already. Like I think like if you do get smacked by your parents, it definitely does affect you, like 100%. However, like it's not impossible for you to like heal from that. You know, I do want to specify that, but it doesn't make it okay. Anyway,
of the problem,
you're gonna lose your child's trust.
That's right, PBP.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like I remember when I woke up with police surrounding my bed, bro. Like that. You know what I mean? My grandma did a lot of effed up stuff after that too, so it just got worse. But like that had like shattered trust from that point. And then I think not far after when I started standing up and not letting her beat me anymore. I was like, no.
It's true, Prince. Yeah, they didn't turn out okay because they think it's okay to beat kids.
Even
True.
though she beat me my whole life, I still had trust and faith in her till that moment.
I agree, Maka.
Very oftentimes when my clients,
yeah, like punishing dogs like that is so bad as well. Like I definitely used to, like, when I had dogs, like if they would misbehave, I would like give them a tap on the nose, and like people might even say like, oh, that's not so bad, you know what I mean? But like even that, like I can't fucking do that shit anymore. Like it's so bad. Like fucking hell, I wouldn't dream of doing that. Like beating animals is absolutely the same as beating kids, 100%. Yeah.
talk to me. I always try to tell people when I meet my client, this is not the first system to fail them. You know what I mean? By virtue of me as a public defender representing them, which is who the majority is represented by in the criminal system. You are literally impoverished. You're disenfranchised in some way. You've already experienced some kind of institutional letdown. And I've never been that. I've never walked through this. Like all of those things are a culmination of how you end up to be, how you end up with your choices, how all those things. Like imagine in your teenage years, I am about to be 30 next month. The things, the anxieties, the depressions, whatever issues that I had as a teenage are the things that have grown, manifested, worked through, whatever, in all this time. So imagine your teen years, your first brush with depression, someone dies, and that somehow becomes your mother criminalizes you. You know, where does that trickle? Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so by the time you do something that you commit some crime that people won't consider a crime of poverty or whatever, because they don't think of the chain. They don't think of the entire chain and how all these things.
And that's the point of this whole section, is to dig through the tough reality that while we suffer under the systems, we are still very deeply invested in them, down to how we raise our children. And I want
and like you could talk about this as well. You know, in terms of how people treat each other just in general. Obviously, like, I think the kids beating thing, like, is a great way, a great sort of, like, vehicle to talk about that stuff. But I also think, like, the way in which we treat people, like, a lot of sort of small-time leftist creators get involved in sort of like petty cancel culture disputes where like there might have been someone who has like transgressed in some fashion. They were learning and they got some stuff wrong, and all of a sudden that person is not allowed to be in the community anymore. They're not like, you know, savable, like, oh, this is awful, like, even though they're like saying, you know, I'm sorry, I fucked up, like, you know, please give me another chance and shit like that. And that shit's fucked. Do you know what I mean? That shit's fucked. That's why, like, you know, generally speaking, like, if someone is, I don't know, say there's like a streamer that I don't know very well, but I know they're a leftist, and like someone says to me, oh, that guy got banned in like so-and-so's chat, I'm not going to just ban that person. Do you know what I mean? I'm not just going to like, because why people ban, I ban people sometimes because I'm just having a bad day. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean that like that person is like a bad, irreparable person. This is why I don't use PasadaBot. Like, I no offense to people who use PasadaBot, but I just think it's like not a great thing to have. I know that it like makes some people's lives easier, and that's fine. It depends. There's nuance to this. It's not always bad. It's not always good. That's kind of what I'm saying about it. But like, PasadaBot is one of those where it'll be like, you're this person, it'll say like, hello, chatter, you've been banned in this community, this community, this community. And it's like, okay, you don't know why they've been banned. You know what I mean? If it comes up in one community, fair enough. You know, but if it comes up in multiple communities, then okay. Like, yeah, that makes sense. Because if it's like all different leftist people, yeah, maybe they've been being a Nazi, right? Maybe they've been being a piece of shit. But that thing's hard. And I think that, like, you know, sometimes even people, you know, who aren't cops, they're very leftist, I think they engage in cop-brained behaviors. Like, I see it all the time. I've had it done to me, chat, a number of times for various different reasons, and it's always cringe. It's always sad, and I try not to talk about it because I constantly try and reinforce everybody that, like, yes, this is a thing that happens, but it's not that bad. Like, it's okay. Like, sometimes when people go a million miles an hour in the wrong direction, they can still be redirected to the right direction, you know? So anyway, I believe that everybody is capable of change is the long and short of it. So I think there's lots of different analogies that we can like look at, and lots of different examples of how we interact with each other in day-to-day life that proves just how deep carceral punishment and carceral justice is embedded into us by this brainwashing, right?
To blame it on the legacy of our treatment during and post-slavery. I want to blame it on internalized anti-blackness. I'm sure there's several good books that explain exactly how this stems out from that behavior for whatever reason. But if we are going to be serious about addressing the problem, we have to be serious about divesting from it. We have to stand against the system and the belief that putting people, especially our people, in prisons when they get in trouble and police custody will help us long-term or even in the short term. Now, this isn't easy because we don't live in a society where police in prisons aren't necessary. I won't tell you to never call the police or never use the system to seek justice or restitution when you have to, but I ask you to consider when and how you can avoid involving these systems, and under what circumstances does the involvement in this system really have a chance to even be meaningful? Because in most cases, they don't. So you need to be mindful of how these systems really work versus how they pretend to work.
Like, I'll give you an example, right? There have been instances, like a couple of times, where kids, young guys, group of guys have been downstairs in their car, like on the street, like, you know, like there's like an alley next to my gaff. And I've seen other people in, like, you know, the flats opposite, like taking pictures of them and like looking disapprovingly. And I'm like, that fucker's gonna call the cops. These lads are about to have the worst fucking night of their lives. And I've done this twice, I think, now, where I've gone downstairs and I've told these lads, like, listen, there are people in these buildings. I'm not gonna do that. But there are people in these buildings who are like going to call the police on you. I've seen them. They're looking at you. They're like looking disapprovingly and shit like that. You don't need that in your night tonight. You know what I mean? If they call the police, you know what I mean? It's going to fuck you up. You're on like private property or some shit. I don't know. They'll come up with something, won't they? So yeah, just find somewhere a bit safer in it. And they're always like, oh yeah, safe, bro. Like there was one time where there was some guys. And one of the guys, I came up to him, and I try and like be as approachable as possible, but I do know that I used to bodybuild, and I look a bit like a Viking. I look a bit like a racist as well. You know, bald head, beard, white, you know, so like fair enough. I try and look as like, sometimes I put on this like big fluffy coat that I've got. It's just like a really like big comfy coat to look like I'm just like, you know, I'm whatever. But this guy was still scared of me, and he went like that, like I can't describe what he did, but he kind of just went what like that, like when I came up to the window, and I was like, I'm not here to start shit, lads. I'm just telling you that guy up there, he's gonna call the cops on you. And they went, oh, and I was like, yeah, I know, it sucks. Like, I was just giving you a heads up in it, you know what I mean? When I first saw you, I thought you had a southern accent, right? Exactly, yeah. It is an epic beard, though. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Put on your gnome hat next time. Mark, welcome to the stream. But I guarantee if I walk up to some stoners, yeah, some guys who are doing drugs, looking how I look with a gnome hat on, or any of the other things that like Mac is saying, like cat ears or whatever, like that's gonna fuck them up. My chances of being like, you know, assaulted through the roof. But anyway. Just examples of how you can, like, I don't know, circumvent the system to stop people getting in trouble. Like, if you believe in harm reduction, then you believe in, like, telling people, look, I know you're doing drugs. I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm not obligated to call the police on you, so I'm not going to. You know, go somewhere safer. Do you know what I mean? Because there are guys who are going to do that. Anyway. I just want to see you in cat ears. I tell you what, Macca. if we get to I don't know, if we get to £300 in donos tonight, I'll get some cat ears and I'll wear them on the stream. How about that? Cartwheel around them at a safe distance. We're moving on.
That's why it confuses me why we ever needed anything else to describe the problem or the solution. Like, I know FD and them be using all them big words and getting extra deep in these topics and whatnot, but sometimes the shit ain't that deep. Sometimes it's real simple. You start contextualizing and debating, and next thing you know, you lost the whole plot of what we talking about. Not only are you taking the claws out and dulled the teeth of a lion, you replace the lion with a house cat that makes everyone comfortable. That's why for me it's always been real simple. Fuck the police. We don't need to clean it up. We don't need to change it. We don't need to switch it up so that it's a little more palatable. And I guarantee they're not going to say that if they don't mean it.
Just take it easy. Hey, you stumbled onto something here. Maybe we can all benefit from this slight misunderstanding. Now let's go someplace quiet so we can talk this over.
Let's go.
So you bastards die just like we did.
The first myth that needs to be dispelled is what
Great clip
police and
from
by
They
extension,
Live.
our criminal justice system is actually here for. The motto, protect and serve, is ubiquitously known as a police creed, but it's not real. Or moreover,
Is it
it's
worth
not
it?
written
No.
in any police bylaws
No, it's
that
not,
they must
Macca.
protect and serve you.
Hey, Leftwood Edward, how you doing?
Everyday normal citizen. I could cherry pick countless examples of police literally not protecting and serving people when they most need them. I could talk about the police in the
We just had it
Uvalde
in the
shooting
chat.
from a couple of years ago, where they stood idly while a spree shooter murdered 19 children and 2
God,
teachers. Or I could talk about the famous case in New York where police stood behind a door watching a man being attacked with a knife and waited until he and another private citizen subdued the attacker before intervening. Or the landmark child abuse case in 1989, which led to a Supreme Court ruling that says that the police do not have to protect you from harm. A ruling that was upheld again in 2005 after a child murder case. Feel free to look this up. Protect and serve isn't real. The police don't have to protect you from harm unless you're a rich land or property owner, probably. Protection of land and property is probably the true origin of policing as we know it. They were slave catchers protecting the property of slave owners in the South or private businesses in the North. But at least for a time, these entities were often privately funded by the rich who, ironically or unironically, often hired criminals and thugs and miscreants as their police to secure their property. It's not until 1838 when we get our first ever publicly funded police force in Boston as rich shipping business owners convinced the local municipality to take over the cost of their, at the time, private protection of their property as a public good. And suddenly we have taxpayer funded policing as we know it.
Yeah.
However, for a long time, the sentiment...
Like whenever you think like the police are a necessary thing to have, even if your brain is still in the like, oh, but we need to put people in prisons mode, yeah. People were put in prisons like without police. Like, you know that, right? You know that like, prisons existed before police, you know? Yeah, there were like things like guards and yeah, there were things like, you know, security firms or soldiers or whatever. Do you know what I mean? A lot of plantation owners have more than one plantation. Absolutely. Absolutely. Slavery was like the you know what capitalism is the zenith of capitalism, right? Completely fucking unpaid labor, free money. Do you know what I mean? Like you exploit the labor, and you don't even fucking pay them, and then sell the goods. Do you know what I mean? Like you do no work, you do zero work. That is exactly what capitalists want. You know what I mean? If they could fucking get away with it, they'd be right back there, chat.
Of fuck
right
the
back
police
there.
Was much more popular than you might think. For longer than not, in fact, the police were looked at by the general public as nuisances, losers, and snitches, or worse yet, themselves another gang of thugs who just happened to serve the economic or political elites.
I know.
It was so funny because I knew a guy who wanted to be a copper when we were like stoner friends, like just after school. And I was thinking, like, I always used to say to him, I was like, bro, what are you going to do if you're a copper, man? Like, can't smoke weed anymore or anything like that. And he was like, no, you definitely can. And I was like, I still didn't quite understand police abolition. I still didn't quite understand prison abolition and shit like that. But so I didn't think like that they would still smoke weed and be able to get away with it because they don't get held accountable by fucking anyone. So I was like, oh yeah, no, you won't be able to do it. You'll get told off. They do regular drug tests. Blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, don't worry, I'll be one of the good police. And he actually said, yeah, he actually said, I'll be one of the good police who confiscates drugs from people and then shares them with their friends. And I still remember thinking, even though my brain wasn't quite there in understanding, why police suck, why prisons suck, and all that stuff, I still knew that was a fucked up thing to think. Because all I kept thinking of was like, well, who you nicking the weed off, bro? I was like, who you confiscating the weed off? and also like the good one, like the idea of the good copper. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't even know like where that came from in his head, like in his fucking head. Yeah, madness.
The police cause you trouble. They cause trouble everywhere.
It's true.
But when you die and go to heaven, you'll find no policeman there.
He was always so based.
Years of publicly funded police and constant complaints from citizens, the Lexow Committee in New York did the first major probe of police activity in the United States. And after 10,000 pages of testimony from over 700 witnesses, the commission came to the following conclusions.
It appears, therefore, that the police formed a separate and highly privileged class, armed with the authority and the machinery for oppression and punishment, but practically freed themselves from the operation of the criminal law. Many of the members of the force, and even superior officers, have abused the resources of physical power which have been provided for them, and their use only in the cases of necessity in the making of arrests and the restraint of disorder, to gratify personal spite and brutal instincts, and to reduce their victims to a condition of servility. This condition has grown to such an extent that even in the eyes of our foreign-born residents, our institutions have been degraded, and those who have fled from oppression abroad have come here to be doubly oppressed in a professedly free and liberal country.
And this was like fucking nearly 200 years ago, chat. It's fucked. It's fucking fucked. It's like the same shit again. Or it's just not changed. It's like everything that this person is saying about police and why police are bad is still the same reasons today. It's fucking fucked.
Thus done by engendering bitterness and hatred in the minds of multitudes of those people who look upon the police as the highest expression of governmental power.
This sounds pretty familiar, doesn't it? It's basically what most black people and pretty much every left-leaning person in earshot has been saying about the police for at least the last 10 years and really longer. Yeah. So you might be wondering, how did we go from that to where we are now? Why are the police so beloved and trusted now?
Damn,
it's not like
someone called state power.
Why, when we constantly see
ruling
the abject
class
failure of police, do people look at those instances of failure as anomalies and not an indication of the reality of policing? The answer to this is multifaceted. There's an inherent investment in the authority that permeates American society. A lot of the support for police, especially now, is essentially just a tacit endorsement of racism and anti-blackness. Yep. That's why you have people yelling all lives matter to people saying Black Lives Matter because you know exactly what they're trying to say. The thin blue line flag saw a huge surge in popularity when black people started marching against police brutality. I don't think that's a coincidence. But what I really want to engage in with most is a concept called propaganda, which brings us to an old TV show called Dragnet.
Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Chat, I'm not gonna get mad at you or cancel anyone or kick you out of the community if you say yes to this, so don't worry about it. But has anyone in chat ever actually watched any cop shows and really enjoyed it. Like, because I think the closest thing that I've like watched to a cop show is Twin Peaks. It's basically about cops, isn't it? But there's more to it. It's definitely still propaganda, right? But like, I just think that like the detective shows count. It just depends on like the context. You know what I mean? If they're like, if it's like a show about like regular coppers, just like going out and arresting criminals every day, like I think that that's like certainly like propaganda. Super Troopers, no, I don't think that counts because all the cops in that are like silly and stupid, aren't they? I do enjoy Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but it is propaganda, albeit better than most propaganda. Yeah. If you count Twin Peaks, that's my favorite show ever. It's, yeah. I mean, on the scale of like cop shows, I think Twin Peaks is one of the better ones, especially like the movie Fire Walk with Me, because one of the first things that David Lynch did when he like made Fire Walk with Me was like, I didn't like how every single cop was treated, but that's because Mark Frost worked on Hill Street Blues, so he was used to doing propaganda shows. So one of the first things that David Lynch did in Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me was introduce these horrible bastard coppers. He was like, yeah, the FBI is still good, but there are these horrible, nasty coppers. Anyway, I used to watch Dragnet and Chips. Oh my goodness. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Cop Rock, NCIS, Honors, background noise. Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is like most people who are saying that they've watched a cop show, they're like, oh, well, I watched like the classic ones, or I watched like comedy ones, right? Like comedy ones. But like what I think of is like The Wire and Law and Order and The Shield, like all those kinds of shows. And I think like I never had any interest in those shows. They looked so boring, even when I wasn't quite up there with like, you know, understanding like why police are bad and stuff. There was a literal show called The Thin Blue Line with Rowan Atkinson. I think I watched that once because it was on a Rowan Atkinson tip. Like I'd just been watching all of Mr. Bean and then all of Blackadder. And I was like, oh, I'll watch The Thin Blue Line. But like immediately I was like, this sucks. You know? Anyway, yeah, really bad. Hey, MSC Streams. And hey, Cicero Fields. As the old one here, I did watch Dragnet and Highway Patrol as a kid. Yeah. Whodunits like Murder, She Wrote, if they count. Does Murder, She Wrote count? Murder, She Wrote is a silly Billy show. I don't know. Does it count? I don't know. I don't know what the Andy Griffith show is. Fringe is one of my favorite shows. There's a really weird 9/11 thing going on. Don't mention it. It's today, chat. It's today. Happy 9/11 to all those who celebrate. Anyway. There's a Polish detective show about a Catholic priest who's always 2 steps ahead of stupid and fat cops and always gets to the criminal just before cops arrive and they confess their sins to him. Oh my god, that sounds awful. Peak Polish culture. That is today. It is today, isn't it? Damn, I forgot about 9/11. Oh, you rubbish patriot, you. I can't believe it. All these Americans forgetting. All these Americans forgetting it's 9/11. Can't believe it. Never forget 9/11/73. Viva Allende. Yes, I saw some people talking about that today. I think it might have been what's his face, Lance from the Surfs. Yeah. Because it is true that like in Chile, the coup against Allende, which was the start of neoliberalism, happened on 9/11 in 1973. So a terrible day for leftists, terrible day for everyone, really. During the peak of COVID, more people died from COVID during 9/11 for a very long time. Oh, no. I know. Oh, my God, yeah. Absolutely. Well aware of that over here on this stream. Just drop it in and say hi. Hey, Shafiq, how you doing? Good to see you. Anyway, right, let's crack on. Dragnet. That's where we're up to in the video. Dragnet.
If you look at like early 1900s films or like the 1910s, you run into stuff like the Keystone Cops, Charlie Chaplin. These are people, Buster Keaton. These are people who are not exactly liking the police. And that stuff's going on for a while. And then when they move...
Top Cat as well. That's where we in Manchester got one of the... Oh, I can't play Top Cat on the stream. I'll get immediately hit. What's Top Cat? Is it Disney, Hanna-Barbera? I don't know. Cartoon Network, isn't it? Who owns... That's Turner. I'll definitely get a copyright strike for that if I put that on the fucking VOD. Maybe I can pause the stream. I'm going to do it. YouTube VOD watchers, I'm sorry. Apologies. You're missing out on this bit of content, but it's for it's completely necessary reason. Right, we'll be back in a tick. But anyway, yeah, got his ass. I also really like Disney's Gargoyles. Had a cop as a main character. Yeah. You love this show as a young'un. Top Cat was great. The Untouchables TV series back in the day. Yep. An indie paranormal TTRPG I have called Liminal Horror that in the appendix explicitly says do not do a sympathetic perspective for cops. They suck. If you want a detective archetype, make a journalist. Very good point.
Moved to television. It's like one of the first big TV shows in the 50s. Jack Webb decides, I'm going to work with the police. I'm going to work with the LAPD. I'm going to give them something that is very, quote unquote, authentic.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Authenticity is
that what Dragnet was all about?
Of cop shows and of propaganda.
I did turn on the recording.
Thank you, this is the real story.
Welcome back, VOD watchers.
These are their stories.
Webb gets all of this equipment from the police. He gets to look at real case files. He gets to do all this stuff.
Thank you, chatters. So, the chat is looking after me. They're caring for me. We got Rohamild and Steph. Did you do the recording, Strimler? I did. Thank you for checking. My sweet chatters. Lady chatters, Lee's lovers. All of you, aren't you?
All of that becomes way cheaper and thus more profitable. And all he's got to do, all Jack Webb's got to do, is
hey amazing sweet, how you doing?
To the LAPD for censorship and approval.
Before Dragnet, the depiction of police in the media mostly aligned with what the Luxau report had to say. Charlie Chaplin, the Keystone Cops, even Bugs Bunny
Hot Fuzz is one that's true.
A negative public sentiment toward the police. Dragnet changed that. Dragnet began a legacy of propaganda where people's understanding of policing stopped being what was actually happening in the streets and started being what we see on TV right now. And since most people don't regularly interact with the police, as we said earlier, and when they do, it's often a mostly positive experience, the reality of what police are to those who interact with them the most, aka the poor, is pretty much...
I don't know who that is, amazing sweet,
and
sorry.
For over half a century, we've been inundated with propaganda, from the cop shows of the 60s and 70s to the action cops of the 80s and 90s to the procedural dramas of the 2000s and beyond. And now even the neo-propaganda of Marvel and Disney, where the heroes are still cops, but they also have superpowers and they make funny jokes.
It's true.
Kick your ass. Cop shows contribute to the myth of the thin blue line, which is that aforementioned idea that police are the only protection good law-abiding citizens have from a world of depraved criminals who want nothing but to harm them.
Had to watch the Dragnet acid party scene from the 1967 revival. Okay, we're also going to pause the recording and watch that too. I'm sorry, VOD watchers. I'm sure you can find this stuff if you do a little bit of digging. If you want to be part of the stream experience, either make time to come to the stream if it's possible for you to do so. If not, don't worry. Or just pause the stream as I'm pausing the recording and find these things yourself and then come back and you can have the exact same experience. You just don't know what I've said about it as it's happening. Okay, see you in a bit. All right, welcome back, VOD watchers. Welcome back. That was very funny. You should go and watch that. It's available on YouTube. Okay, let's continue with the video.
Joe Friday is the main character, and he is just perfect. Like, he never shoots his gun. When he does, it's one shot. He never misses. He's very clinical. He's very cold. He's very calm.
I took the money from people who had it and gave it to those who didn't. What do you think, Sergeant?
What's that?
Was I wrong?
He never gets emotional. He always gets the right guy. He's just perfect. You know, he's like the ideal of what you would want in a detective. Not realistic at all, obviously, and bought and paid for by the LAPD. Then there's also like a lot of thin blue line stuff going on. So they'll talk about how there's crime right around, there's crime every day. It's threatening our city, but good thing we have Mr. Joe Friday. These are real stories. We've changed the names to protect the innocent, but this is what's going on, guys.
Yeah, and
LAPD's got you.
Shows like Cops used to put that reality on in full display. Shows like Law and Order gave us dramatic, heinous examples of the worst things that could happen, but justice is served by the end of the show. And shows like The Wire and We Own the Night present a critical eye toward policing that still eventually reinforces the thin blue line myth. And even outside of that frame, we have shows like Brooklyn Nine-Nine,
there it is,
Reno 911 that make cops funny.
Tell me why
ain't nothing but a heartache.
Tell me why ain't nothing.
And shows like Paw Patrol that hide the gross reality of what police dogs tend to do in real life and their historical connection to slavery.
Yeah,
it is a show that is.
Oh, MSC Stream, thank you so much for the £4.75. Chat, if we get one more dono, you better believe we'll be having a tiny little hype train. Get a bit of candy for you. I got a new tune for you. I've got a thing that we're going to do, chat. Yeah, every time there's a hype train now, I'm going to play I'm going to play you a song that I've found that I think is going to be good. So we're going to listen to some new music. But thank you so much for supporting the stream. Thank you for subbing off Twitch. Really appreciate that. What was I saying just now? My total ends in 420. That's why you donated that amount. That was very smart. Thank you very much. Very smart, very funny. It's the weed amount. Twice. Anyway. So, yeah, this I can't remember what I was watching when it spoke about, what was it? The dogs the quote unquote pioneers had, the so-called pioneers. They were like a certain type of dog that was like specifically bred to just fucking kill black people, innit? Just like kill anyone not white. Genuine question, what's the deal with Paw Patrol? It's a kids show that's like garbage because the cops in it are like treated as heroes, etc., etc. It's the indoctrination from a young age, you know. And they get mad at us when there is a gay person in a TV show. They get mad at us when we mention gender in a TV show for adults. They're like, indoctrination. But here you have, you know, this show telling kids that cops are great, police dogs are even better, you know?
Is very like pro police, obviously. Like the main character is a cop dog. His name is Chase.
It's the main
That's
character.
Crazy. Let's not leave that unsaid.
His name is
Giving him,
Chase?
gadgets. Like he's got like a drone. He's got like
Donating for the excellent edutainment this stream.
Prince, thank you so much for the 1312. I should make a new scene for this. I don't have a scene prepared, so we're just gonna play it on the but I saw this tune and I thought it's gonna be really, really good because I'm super interested in lots of different types of music, and I saw this one tune that was advertised to me, and hold up, why is it looking like that? Why is it looking like that? They added newest. I'm sure I added this to my watch later. Yes, I did. There we go. Okay. Right, we're gonna watch this chat. This is Abel Saloako, and the tune is called Ka Bohaleng, or On the Sharp Side. Let's take a little look. Thanks for the donos.
Le rato la musaria twarang tipaka buhalen yelele 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 yelele
This is fucking sick. That's right, Spectra. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, the vocal range is incredible. This is a vibe. Yeah, they got it all fab forward. Fucking sick. Oh fuck, it's about to pop off, chat. Sick. That was fucking sick. Yeah, I knew that was going to be a good one. Check that out. Abel Selico. I'll put a link to that in the chat. Tune is called On the Sharp Side, aka Ka Bohaleng. That's Kabohaleng. Yeah, it was so, yeah, fucked severely. Yeah, for real. That was really, really good. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for the mini hype train. Really appreciate that. Thanks for the donos. We're so close to getting to that goal, chat. So close. That's very exciting. We're gonna watch them 2 movies. They're really, really good. Anyway, let's get back to the video. I'm gonna
spy
watch a bit more of this.
He's got all this other stuff. There's like mass surveillance. They know where everything is all the time. Research that I did for the Paw Patrol video, I've done a lot of research on cop stuff and police brutality. That is some of the most horrific shit I've ever read. There were like jugulars broken, people lost their testicles, like just crazy golf-sized bites being taken out of people's legs for often like not a real, like just in the arrest. Like they're not convicted. There's nothing going on here. Like they might not even be guilty of anything.
Have nothing.
Chan's when you're back, kid. You're under arrest, okay?
All of these shows and movies promote an image of policing and crime that just isn't real and doesn't even make sense most of the time. However, with these images everywhere, with people engaging with the police through TV more than real life, the fiction becomes reality. And we think this is how—
Are there any veteran actors in Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Because whenever I like look at veteran actors, like you got Terry Crews in it. He's in it for like a bit. Isn't he like a commissioner or something? He's like in it every now and then. But like all the other, I'm like trying to think of like all the other actors, and I'm like, I don't think I know any of them. Not nearly as well as I know Terry Crews. But Terry Crews, he's in most episodes, is he? All right, okay. I don't know much about this show, but Terry Crews is like the main guy, like that's like a big actor in it. It's just like I feel like when most people see like a show like this, they're like, yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to fucking do that. Oh, it looks fucking garbage, you know?
However, with these images everywhere, with people engaging with the police through TV—
This guy, hold up, wait.
However, with these images
is that a clip from Law and Order or something different, or is that like the same show? All these police shows look the same, even like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Law and Order and The Wire, like they all just look the same. It's so uncreative. It's so uncreative. It's so uncreative. Most of them are career comedians rather than actors. Yeah, but like actors could do comedy. It's Law and Order. Right. So I don't even fucking know this show.
People engaging with the police through TV more than real life, the fiction becomes reality. And we think this is how policing works. And it definitely is not. As I said earlier, the police don't solve many crimes, and they don't have a legal obligation to protect people. And research has consistently found that more police and the amount of police have little to no effect on crime. There is research that indicates that focused deterrent strategies, aka putting more police in high crime neighborhoods, has some effect.
Okay, Shafiq, thank you for being here.
We have to
See you
engage
later.
with the whole other body of research that shows the consequence of over-policing poor communities, aka
Andre Braugher is the most veteran actor in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Community disinvestment, you know.
What do I know him from?
With the 94 crime bill. I see multiple cop cars whenever I leave my
Andy
house.
Sandberg? I don't know
feel
who
any
that is.
safer. Further, a fraction of the money being spent to over-police high crime areas could be better used to actually funnel resources into those areas with far greater social benefit at a cheaper price. But the reality is these systems aren't meant to benefit society.
He was in The Mist, of course. That's where I know him from. He did a voice in BoJack Horseman. God, what other films has he been? He's been in. I've not seen any of these films that he's been in. I'm gonna take a look through his filmography. Oh, he's not been in that many films. Glory, Striking Distance, Primal Fear, Get on the Bus, The Mist. The Mist is the only one. The Mist is the only one, I think. City of Angels. I've heard City of Angels is supposed to be really good. I've not seen that. Got Nick Cage in it. Maybe I should watch that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Who's the other guy? Andy Sandberg. Oh, that name rings a bell. Andy Sandberg. Yeah, he's been in some stuff. Oh my god, no way. He was in the fucking Adam Sandler apology movie for statutory rape, wasn't he? That's my boy. Oh my god. He was on Saturday Night Live. Oh, yeah. Do I remember The Lonely Island? I remember. Oh, he was in The Lonely Island. Oh, right. Okay. All right. He's been in all them annoying films that aren't funny. Because his comedy was not funny. Okay. Anyway. The Adam Sandler what? Yeah, Adam Sandler did a movie called That's My Boy. I make knowing these things my business because it is my business as a survivor of that particular stuff. And he made a film called That's My Boy. Which is basically, a film that does not do a good job of talking about statutory rape. Anyway. Sandler and Sandberg are not the same. No one's saying that. It's because I mentioned the Adam Sandler film that he's in.
They're meant to control it. And the thing is, this is not some like left-wing nonsense. This is not some, critical theory extrapolation. This is well understood, constantly reproduced research. The department.
I don't like that he said left-wing nonsense. What's up with that, Feek? Why did you say that? Wait, what is left-wing nonsense? Because you know what? I think I do know what he's talking about. I think he's probably talking about, like, there are some things that get, like, overhyped and, fair enough.
Of Justice just released a report on the Minneapolis Police Department where George Floyd...
I think the reason why that kind of stuck out to me is because this is just leftist stuff. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Many other innocent, unarmed people.
And it's all right, Cicero,
and it showed a clear pattern of repeated abuses and violations that they've known about for decades. But that's not unique. Pretty much anywhere where the DOJ or anyone has investigated the police, they found the exact same thing.
Yeah, he knows his audience, and he knows he's got like a lot of liberals watching, and potentially even some conservatives as well.
But abuses of power, ingrained racism, and a lack of accountability.
Hey, Gatan Naranja.
And again, this isn't something we're subtly aware of. 60 plus.
I love your name, and it's only because it's one of the few Spanish sort of like things that I understand. Orange Cat. Welcome to the stream. How you doing?
Years of sociological and criminological research on crime has told us over and over
very heavily
that the
substantiated,
greatest predictor of crime is poverty and community dysfunction. And thus, the best way to reduce crime is to increase the quality of life in high crime areas.
He's spitting. Sorry, that's a really funny chat message, Emmy. I remember it's a horrifying film. It's really awful. I remember an ex-friend of mine put that film on when I was a teen. I drifted away from that person pretty quick after that because I just thought it was a bit disturbing. Sorry, I don't know why. That was so funny to me. But real. Quite real what you said just there, isn't it?
Have broken down in Detroit, Michigan. Pillage, looting, murder, and arson have nothing to do with civil rights.
Chit chat. Ooh, chat. Do you remember that one chatter that came in and said, Minneapolis was burnt down by Black Lives Matter activists? They just set cities on fire. They're not there anymore. They're completely gone. They demolished the entire city of Minneapolis. It's just gone. It's gone now. Do you remember that? That was only a few weeks ago.
John. Well, Mr. President. How are you? I'm fine, thank you, sir. John, you know what I think of you, don't you? I certainly do, Mr. President, and vice versa. I've got to ask you now to act like the good American I believe you to be. I'm going to seriously consider appointing a small group of 7 or 9 tonight to look into the cause of these disorders. I want nothing but competence, and I want nothing but compassion.
Oh, hey, Willada, how are you doing?
Nothing but patriotism. The commission will investigate.
We actually brought up Tulsa, Willada, because as we all know, maybe like one target got destroyed in Minnesota. Maybe. But as we all know, if you've done your research, the U.S. government just straight up... Well, actually, it was the police department, wasn't it? Like the Tulsa Police Department in cooperation with the FBI, and I think the CIA as well. They just blew up a town called Tulsa. They just completely destroyed it because... they were black people were creating their own economy and shit like that. Anyway. Oh.
The origins of the disorders in our cities. It will make recommendations to me, to the Congress, to the state governors, to the mayors for measures to prevent or contain such disasters.
The President's Advisory Commission on Civil Disorder warned that race hatred threatened to tear this country apart.
What white Americans have never fully understood, but what can never forget, is that white society is deeply impacted in the ghetto. White institutions created it. White institutions maintain it. And white society condones it.
One of the things that they dispense with, early on, is the idea that you just need to reform police. And they said, like, look, no, this is about housing, this is about education, this is about healthcare, this is about media, this is about employment and unemployment. All of the institutions that really relate to life outcomes. And when they kind of walked through the data of the systemic differentiation between how those institutions interacted with black people and how they interacted with white people, or how they interacted with non-white people, they just came to this holistic understanding, of the problem. And they were saying, well, you can't really talk about policing without also talking about unemployment. And you can't talk about unemployment without talking about education. You can't talk about education without talking about housing.
Among the ingredients of this mixture are pervasive discrimination and segregation in employment, education, housing, which have resulted in the continuing exclusion of great number from the benefit of economic progress. Black in-migration and white exodus, which have produced the massive and growing concentrations of impoverished in our major cities, creating a growing crisis of deteriorating facilities and services and unmet human needs.
It's the same things we've been saying forever. They found it way back in 1968. The findings were so scathing to the lack of real effort by the government to heal the wounds of racism that the report had to leak out of the relatively progressive Lyndon B. Johnson administration. They didn't want the truth to come out about their own findings. The Kerner Commission report is not new science. You can go to any ghetto in the world, in the entire world, South America, South Africa, South Asia, Eastern Europe. You'll find people in dire straits ripping each other apart for the sake of survival. And in every situation, the same solutions are prescribed: social support, community investment, healthcare, education. Yet, whether it's Joe Biden in 1994 or Joe Biden in 2020, we still see our government officials peddling the lie that we need a better trained and better funded police force to address crime and somehow the failures of policing.
I know most cops and their families are good, decent, honorable people, the vast majority.
No.
We have to do better. Give law enforcement the real training they need. Hold them to higher standards. Help them succeed in keeping us safe.
The fallacy of the existence of modern policing is well documented. There will be some books in the description, but just in the last month or so since this video was in production, other big YouTubers like Big Joel, Some More News, Philosophy Tube have made videos detailing lots of new evidence as to why policing is bad. And Skip Intro has a whole series on propaganda that is well worth your time. I appreciate them because the reality is that black people have been telling this same fucking story to the whole country for several generations now, and it's fallen on deaf ears. It's been in our music, it's been in our politics, it's even been in our family TV shows in the 90s.
But the thing is, officer, this isn't my car.
Get out of the car, Carl. What? He's going to tell us to get out of
I have a better idea. Turn over the old farts in charge to the younger generations. That will not bring about systemic change in any positive or meaningful way, I'm afraid. Even if you replaced all of the senators, all of the presidents, all of the White House staff with young people, the system would still exist. People would still abuse it. Lobbyists would immediately find out which people can be bought, which people cannot be bought so much, but everyone has a price. And all that would do would continue the corruption that we have in society. Yeah, as long as capitalism exists. Yeah. As long as capitalism exists, as long as the state exists, there is no meaningful change to be found. You know, they aren't even like supporting abolitionist reforms. Like, and arguably there are younger people in government and they don't support abolitionist reforms, non-reformist reforms. They support other reforms, you know? Also, I think you meant to say young people are not that much more left than many leftists hope. Yeah, I mean, but again, like, even if they are, like, super leftist, if they are super leftist, they wouldn't want to be in those positions, right? That's the reality of it all. If they are super leftist, they wouldn't actually want to be in those positions because they would know that that would mean the continuation of the state, the continuation of oppression, etc., etc. So, you know, you're right. The kind of people who would take up those positions would not be more left, you know, than you would want the people to be in those positions.
The car.
You watch too much TV, Will.
Get out of the car. Which is yet another YouTube video you can watch. Sadly, some folks don't take it seriously until a white person tells it to them. So for more specific examples of this, you can check that out or other stuff in the description. Let's move on to the actual prison part of this equation.
So, right there is where I'm going to leave it for tonight, folks. Oh my goodness, I know. I started the stream late. I'm really, really sorry. Had a bunch of stuff I was doing today, and there's a bunch of stuff that I got to do after the stream as well. So, please forgive me, chat. Please, I beg of you. But it doesn't mean that you don't have to... It doesn't mean you have to log off and touch grass or anything like that. Don't worry, I'm not forcing you to do anything. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and raid someone who I'm gonna take you over to. I feel like chat's in like a very like political mood, so we gotta raid someone who's doing at least some kind of politics, right? We can't just, or some kind of political person at the very least. You're forgiven, streamer. I wanted to go to sleep anyway. Yeah, I gotta go sleep. I seriously gotta go to sleep. So we are gonna go ahead and raid Tina 2. Tina 2 is a great streamer. She's really, really cool. She is doing, I'm just gonna have a quick read of her title. Space-time, vibes, video games, and Discord. Okay, well, she's playing a video game. It's not quite what I wanted, but listen, we're going to go and raid her anyway. You should all go follow Tina 2. At least come with us for the raid because it will be fun. And it's nice to show some love to leftist content creators who are our friends. You know what I mean? It's nice. Anyway, thank you so much for all the support today. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you for the donos. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the raid, Zach. Really appreciate that. Thanks to all the mods for being here. Thank you for what else? Just being here in the chat and chatting. Thank you for lurking if you're a lurker. Thank you for watching the VOD on the VOD channel. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and share, because that stuff really helps me out. And if you can't deal with just 24 little hours without me, your boy, Donkus Jonkus, don't forget, I got all my socials. I'm uploading loads more TikToks at the minute. I'm uploading loads more Patreon exclusive stuff. Got a 2-hour movie review that you can check out if you subscribe at Possum tier or above over on the old Patreon, so don't miss that out. I got Instagram, I got a YouTube channel, got a VOD channel, got all that stuff, so catch me on those. And I will see you in the next stream tomorrow. Mwah. Stay excellent to each other. Peace, 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 peace.